Oh, man. Whether it be two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, or these badass Broncos a lot of us drive, this is your Bronco Talk Live presented by White Knuckle Off-Road Products. Once again, all they ask you to do is go check out their products. They think when you see their products, especially if you've seen it like when we had it at Supercell, they think you'll purchase their products, and that's all they ask for. They're not doing some goofy discounts this week or next week. They just build the most badass rock rails, rock sliders, whatever you want to call them. And they we've been endorsed by them for like 11, 12 years now. So and I wouldn't keep endorsing this product if we didn't like their product. So
we've had one on every vehicle over the last
about 11 years.
Yeah,
something like that. So this is Bronco Talk Live, and Allie will be here in shortly. She's hurrying from Brighton Ford. I think she's probably last minute sale, I'm gonna say. And
how dare she?
I know, money or talking Broncos. I honestly, as much as she likes talking Broncos, I'm assuming she'd probably want to talk Broncos.
Probably.
But anyway, so Allie will be on here tonight.
Oh, we are in blue tonight.
We are. We're matchy.
Didn't even realize it. Well, it wasn't planned.
No. Look,
just happened.
I'm low, and can't explain anything.
I can explain it to you, but I can't understand it for you.
Can't make you understand it.
No, it says I can't understand it for you.
Why are you pointing to your chest like that?
Because it's on my shirt.
Anyways, oh man, that's how we get the views right there. Bring the girls out. No. We could just send it, and there we go. Anyways, so yeah, this is Bronco Talk Live, and it is a Monday. As you've seen, I accidentally put in the wrong stupid intro once again, but I did catch it this time. I like both songs of the intro so much, so I just don't ever like it, like white noise. You kind of zone out if the lawnmower is going or whatever. That's my problem with that. Is I just get in my head of like, hey, let's do this. So tonight we got big things. We're going to talk some Ranger Bronco Raptors, and I do have a Ranger thing we're going to talk about. Slightly. Not this isn't a dual show. This is still Bronco talk, but I do have to give an update on some Ranger stuff. And Kelly, is it time? Do we do this right now?
I don't know.
Let's find out.
All right. So you know what time it is. So we're going to say hello. So Bird Dog Off-Road Adventures, first comment of the night at 7:30. So 30 minutes early. Man.
It's going to get his fix.
Jessica Dunn checking in this evening as well.
Jody with Bird Dog, he sent me a message of something about Tito's. Oh no, he had a funny comment about our
Slipstream drawer.
No, the drawer system on that. He goes, how many? Because I posted a picture of all the Gatorades on it. He goes, well, how many Tito's bottles could we get on that? And I was like, we can find out.
We can totally find out. Let's see. Cigar Texan checking in. Steve P saying, hey, from Phoenix, 100 degrees and sunny.
You can keep that, Steve P.
Yeah. We're not ready for that. Nope. Mark King checking in says, won't be able to watch tonight. Got a 3:30 wake up call. Catch you on the rerun in the morning. Well, thank you for popping in and saying hello.
That's right.
Frank B checking in. Minall Productions saying good evening from Western Colorado. Joshua Rittenhouse, Bronco 78 Adventures, 804 Jester, Michael Cooper, Bronco Dude says 2 likes from me. I just got back from a weekend away with the Bronco.
Ooh, nice.
Dirk Connor, YouTube Car Spotters Guide, Valley Dude 5000, Jonathan Falds, Bronco Dude, Mike Malo. I'm probably pronounced that wrong. No, maybe Malott. It's either Malott or Malo, and I could be totally wrong. Who knows?
Sorry.
David Zarko, Justin Zimmerman, Terrence Mooney, Eric Jefferson, Dami Hundal. I see your question there. We'll get to that a little bit later. Terrence Mooney, TJ Miller saying Allie probably needs a break from Dave asking if the Ranger order banks are open yet. And a couple last ones that popped in last minute. Technical disasters, Flo, Juarez, Nurse AJ, and Cincy Cycles. I think, and Stephen Rapp saying, sold my Big Ben waiting number 2 slot and my limited. So Steel Bronco checking in too, 13 seconds, and Dave's in the dog box already. And Johnny's car care reviews too.
What's going on, Johnny?
I think I got everybody.
Look at that, man. Record time too. Record time. Oh man, so yeah, that's right. Tonight we're going to talk a little bit of Bronco Raptors and Telluride, Colorado. We've I feel like last year, if you've been with us for the year, we were going to go to Moab, and well, my life fell apart because my mother passed, and my son decided to break his arm in half. If you're going to do it right. And so I think life was saying, hey, if you would like, they happen in threes. So we blocked out that third one and said, hey, let's just roll with these punches. But this year's trip, we've planned to go to Telluride, Colorado. And the guy that I know who's been there more than me, I've been there one time. I got to spend a couple days in the area and loved it. But Mr. Tony Payne with Trail Cartel is going to pop up here in just a minute. Because I want to, I want to know more about the area. And of course, now he has, he's had a first edition Bronco, and now he's got a Bronco Raptor, and he's digging it. And so I want to, figure out how things are going over there in Bronco world. And also, Tony's been, you guys remember Bubba with Exodus 4-wheel drive or 4x4, sorry. He's been helping with the programming issues on the 74 weld stuff. So I think he's a little smarter than we are for transmission issues or getting things to all work. And really?
Yeah.
How many?
A lot. I can't even put a number on it.
Like 10?
I can't even.
10, 12?
Way more.
Really?
Yeah, like 20.
Ooh. Hi, 20 people who are smarter than us. But anyway, so Alan, I don't see Allie just yet. There's no signs of her.
I don't see him yet. Don't see her yet.
I feel like we're going to need a drum roll when we see her pop up. All right, so let's bring in Mr. Tony Payne. And Tony, the last time we talked was kind of a bummer situation. I know you had some things going on with some family and friends, but I'm just hoping that this is a better day for you. And
today was better.
Yes.
Yeah, this is a great day by comparison.
Right? Because if this was a really bad day, I'm going to say it was probably like Bronco Talk's fault that you're having a bad day, and so we wouldn't want you on the show to have more bad days. But welcome back, buddy. It's been about a year and a few months.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to talking about Telluride and Lake City and San Juans too, for sure.
Yeah. Nice. So if you're into off-roading, guys, Tony's a good kind of guy to talk with because you're not really Ford exclusive. You've owned a few Jeeps. So I know you had a cool video. Was it you that had a cool video of a 392 doing a burnout or something?
That 392 pulling the trash truck and climbing up some stuff. And we started in Tacomas, and then went to Tundras. And so I've been through it all. I love it all. I just love off-roading. So.
Oh, man, I wish this wasn't a Ford exclusive show because I'd like to talk some Tacoma right now. Anyways.
I saw one at Overland, not to interrupt you, but Overland West that was pretty rad. At least I saw the picture.
Did you get wet out there?
I didn't go. I just saw the pictures.
Oh, yeah. No, trust me. My buddy Tim Esterthal was in Hawaii and kept sending me, telling me all this cool stuff that was happening. And I was like, why didn't Toyota reach out to us? I would like a trip to Hawaii to see the baddest mid-sized truck out there. But anyways.
Baby steps, baby.
Yeah, but
baby
Tony, you're great. You're a great reference because I know you've had the Gladiator. You've done a lot with that. You've had a first edition Bronco. I believe it was first edition, right?
Yep.
So, and now you're into a Raptors. So I think you kind of know the best vehicles out there. You had your hands in each one of them a little bit.
Yeah, I've had some seat time in all of them. Probably the least in this Raptor, but it's a pretty quick study as far as that goes. So
we'll give it time. Give it time. Don't sell it just yet.
No, I'm not. It's pretty easy to drive. It launches pretty well as far as getting it in the air. So
right,
we're having a lot of fun with it, just screwing around. But we haven't done anything serious with it yet. Yeah.
So I knew you had told me privately. You're like, hey, I've got this coming, and we haven't really told
maybe it was private.
And yet, well, this was a while back. Told our audience just yet, but
limitations on privacy with Dave.
You're gonna have to sign a release on this stuff. No, but you had had a Bronco Raptor coming, and is this number 2 or did you have one before this, or not have it but had one on order?
Yeah, we had one on order. We had a 22, and then we ended up just kind of getting that bump into a 23 model, which I'm glad. I mean, it was an increase, right? Like I think it went up like $5,000, but we got you could actually see your temperatures and the gauges and a few nice things like that we liked. But that was the only one that we had ordered. It just took forever because I didn't get a golden ticket. So my dealership worked really, really hard to get me an allocation and get me in it. And so, that's pretty exciting. And it's, side note, that dealership actually built their own off-rodeo. I don't know if I told you that or not, but if you buy from them, you get to go out to this off-rodeo and drive your own Bronco out there. So
that sounds a lot more fun.
It is, and it is tamed down in some areas. Not that the off-rodeo gets too rowdy, but we're talking about some people. The great thing about that is you take people that would never take it off-road, which is fine because we need everybody to buy a Bronco if we want the Bronco to continue to exist. I don't care what wheels you put on it. I don't care what you do with it. It doesn't matter to me. Right. They come out there and they get that one chance, and you get to see them light up and enjoy it. So we get to spend quite a bit of time around a lot of different models. But and I think
it's great for the dealership. They get to show people, hey, because especially a lot of people, they always want to order the most badass of any car they can get.
Yeah.
And most cars, it doesn't matter. I mean, they are relatively all the same, but the Bronco, you get lockers involved and all this, and lockers can get you in trouble if you're in the wrong situation. So it would be nice to see like a dealership, and hopefully they have somebody experienced. I would assume they do if they built a course. They can really like talk to people. And
we take them around, and we do it just like they do. We put them in sections, and the location, it's called Silo Hill, and we go out there, and you have your off-camber sections, you have your whoop sections, you have sections where you can actually use the stay bar if you have it, or the sway bar, depends on what school of thought you're from. And
right.
And the rock crawl section is pretty mild, but if you've never rock crawled at all, I mean, everything is exciting, and that's what gets my juices flowing when I'm watching people who've never wheeled just light up and get after it, and they want more. When it's over. Then you tootle around at what do you think, 7 miles an hour most of the day, doing the one pedal, doing all that stuff, and then we have a little GP track where we tell them 35 miles an hour is top speed, and they think they're doing 100. After driving slow all day, and that's usually everybody's favorite part. Well, that's how we end the day. So
it's funny you say that, because when Becky with Driven Wild Outdoors and I went to Ladies Off Rodeo, she'd never wheeled before in the traditional sense, and she started the day. And by midday, she was like, "Okay, Kelly, it's your turn. Like you need to get in there." And so I, the day got progressively harder. Well, then I'm looking up at the sky, and she's like, "Oh, I'm so glad you did this." But then once we were leaving off rodeo, she's like, "Man, I want to go back and do it again." Like you get that that adrenaline feel, and it's crazy when you see that light up. And now she's like addicted to it.
Isn't it awesome? I mean, it rejuvenates you because I mean, we do it because I want to be scared. I want to take a vehicle to the edge where I'm excited and I've done something. When I'm done, I'm like, I did it. And that's getting, now, I mean, nowhere near as hard as possible, but that's always escalating in my life, for where I'm at. And I mean, I'm not saying I'm at the top, I'm nowhere near it, but it's real easy for me to find something that gets me excited. And it's just, you see that and it just reminds you why you do it. So
that was a big thing when we had some Nissan Xteras. Was I had a Gen 1 Xterra, and I ended up solid axle swapping it. Only because it kept breaking. I kept screwing up I was pushing the independent front suspension as far as it would go. But I really didn't want to do that. It was more out of I'm getting tired of replacing, ball joints and stuff that just wear out from, those, especially those SUVs were not made to like go rock crawling, which we were doing. But I had always said like 33s were enough for me. And then I put 35s on it when I solid axle swapped it.
Of course you did.
And then the adventure had to ramp up for me to have the same enjoyment. And I mean, I don't claim to be some badass off-roader. Like, we go and we have the fun. We've done lots of rock crawling and stuff, but I'm just as happy, riding on trails, just seeing other people having fun. And we were with the Tennessee Broncos a couple months ago now, and it was nice to see a bunch of new people out there that nothing we did was not past anybody's really extremes, and like they had a blast because they were getting to learn how to push their lockers, or this one here who just like over anything was like, I want to push the buttons, not because she knew she didn't, but it was like, I don't get to do this often. I want to try these things.
Yeah, you're right. And when it's down a level that you can actually enjoy the scenery. And I mean, stop and smell the roses. I enjoy those trips. You know, I want to look at the old ghost town or read the plaque on the side of the road to figure out what in the world made somebody get on horses and come up here in the middle of winter, 150 years ago and build this, That's just, to me, that's, when intense is fine, like you said, but at some point in time, it's nice to just bring it down and enjoy nature and get out there to maybe where less people can get, but you can still have a good time. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of, so you're in the Oklahoma area, right?
I am. Yeah. I live in Tulsa, Jinx.
So what do you have, Disney there or something like that?
Yeah, there's Disney and there's Gruber and then there's Crossbar, which they're doing 4,400. Mid-America is up the road. They're doing some not King Hammers, but they're doing some of the Ultra Force stuff up there. So
you're kind of, you're closer to the Southwest than we are for where all the real fun stuff is, but it's a haul for you to get somewhere, right?
Yeah, it's 16 hours of good hard driving to get to Moab or to Huracan. Lake City is where my parents live in Lake City, so which is just right there by Telluride in a way if you're willing to wheel, and so that's 12 and a half hours to get there. So it's a good time. So that's where I like to go. I like to go west. I've been here, done that in this area. So I enjoy getting out there where in God's country, as I call it.
Yeah. Well, we have locally, we have Willie's Off-Road, which is just, if you ever saw Spike TV where all the guys, the car shows, that's where they would test a lot of Ian and all those guys would test their products that they built out there. But it's more or less just sort of a redneck, there's the little mud pits and stuff. And there's a half a day's easily of fun. But for us, we got to go to Windrock, which we're still pretty lucky for us that it's only a couple hours away. And I always forget that some people don't even have a Windrock near them. Like, you start getting into the Nebraska kind of area and, it's all plains. It's like, well, cool. It's going through the cornfield, I guess. I don't know what those people do.
I don't know. I would suggest they head west.
Right.
Get out there and get after it.
Well, I definitely want to scratch your. I want to talk to you about Telluride for a minute. But how has the Raptor been treating you? How long have you had it?
Oh, I got the Raptor February 4th. I think
you've had some good time with it so far.
Yeah, it's got about 3,000 miles on it. But what I have is I have seasons. So it was Jeep season when it showed up, and so that meant I had EJS, and we had a trip to Sand Hollow, and we had a couple other things on the books because I guess we were pregnant with a Raptor and we didn't know it because we didn't think the thing was ever going to get built, right?
Right.
So, we just bought a new Gladiator just because I was ready to move on from the one that I had and do something a little bit more raunchy. And so I had all these trips planned, and then this thing showed up, and I was like, wow, this is going to take a financial Herculean feat to pull this off. So we managed to do it. But here lately, we've been testing it out, just kind of getting used to it, playing with it at Silo Hill, the place that I was telling you about, and been over to Arkansas a few times. And, I've had zero trouble with the thing, to be clear. And I really didn't have any trouble with my first edition, other than that I think the suspension on it wasn't what I was expecting. But this one's doing fantastic. There's still always that thing in the back of my mind when I'm out there running down a road or doing something and I'm by myself or have my wife with me, that I'm going to have trouble with the tie rod, or I'm going to have trouble, with something. And I know it's the odds of it happening are minimal, but I think there's been enough stigma about it that's always something that's just in the back of my head.
Yeah.
Whether it's real or not.
Unfortunately for Ford, they have such a black eye with that, really, that it's, it's gonna run with this thing for quite a while. But we have the Bronc Buster braces. He gave us some to test out, but I'll be honest, I've seen the braking of the tie rod slowing down a little bit. I think enough of the newer people, maybe to wheeling, who just are the bash people that run I got to run 60 mile an hour through this rock garden.
They learn to take a breath.
They're starting to, people are educating themselves a little bit.
Yeah, and we notice this a lot. We have people are scared. And I don't mean scared in a bad way, but they're new. They're holding on to that steering wheel with a death grip, and they're fighting whatever is coming at them, and they're putting all of that tension back into the steering system. And where if they just let it breathe a little bit, they're not going to get offline. And that's kind of what we tell them 38 special, just hold on loosely. Just, let it happen and let it have a bobble, put it back online. And I've heard a lot of people that were, people will be asking questions, how hard do I hold on the steering wheel of this at other events? And they're like, get a grip on that steering wheel and fight it. Well, there's feedback that comes back to that steering wheel. And if you pay attention to it, you're less likely to break it. But to people's defense, I have seen people rock crawling and get them in a V-notch or something and see it break. And there was nothing they were going to do about it. I mean, it just happened, right?
No, they still are a weak system. I even know on the Raptors, they have beefed those up, but it's still, but I've wheeled IFS pretty much exclusively. I mean, we've had some Jeeps and stuff, but I never went too crazy off-road with those.
It was too old to be comfortable.
Well, my YJ, I couldn't keep running long enough to actually go wheel with it because it was carbureted. So I fought with that. But yeah, so I mean, I will say I know the Nissan stuff that we used to have was, as far as tie rods, was a lot better system than what Ford did on this one. But I don't want to beat that dead horse up on it. But ultimately. The Badlands, basically, the first edition you had, night and day different between the Raptor, right?
Night and day different, and I mean, no comparison. Interior wise, the seats that are in this thing, the way the thing performs, the way it sounds. I like the steering modes a lot, where you can turn the steering up and down, how tense it is, how light it is. That's really fun to play with. So it's got the MyR button in it, so I have it kind of set up the way that I like it. You get in and you just double tap that, and it's like memory. So the exhaust goes to the mode I want, the steering goes to the mode I want. And that's not necessarily always sport, because it kind of does this cocky little, in sport mode, this little rev match thing when it's downshifting. And depending on what your exhaust is set to, it really can make you sound like you're looking for attention. And that's fun at times, but not every day, daily driving. But I do like the way it shifts a little better in sport. So it's kind of one of those deals.
Give and take.
Yeah.
Throw it in sport, put it in the quiet mode.
I'm excited. We got to hear the Ranger Raptor a little bit when we were at a press event for that, and they were moving it. We were like one of the only press, I think, that asked them to move it.
Yeah.
Because the event we were at, most of them were in and out in 20 minutes. Like they gave that truck about 20 minutes of their attention and then flew out to somewhere else. But we spent a lot of time with that truck, and so we were
the last people there.
Yeah, we had them to move it to a different position than everybody else. And man, I will say, when that thing was just creeping over to that spot, I know he didn't have it in sport mode, but that thing still sounded great. So I mean, no, the 3.0 sounds good.
It does sound good. I mean, honestly, I'd love to have a Gen 3. I mean, that would be great. But side by side, starting exhaust note and accelerating exhaust note, I still think they nailed it on this Bronco Raptor. It just sounds good. Get them going under overpass. It just sounds right, I think, in my opinion. For not being
I haven't learned with ours though, since we put the AWE exhaust on it, that if I put it in Baja mode and of course all it's doing really is just it's made it from a 10-speed to a 5-speed, basically. It's all it's doing. But you can let off on the gas and just tap the gas a little bit while it's letting off, and you can get some nice little pops and gurgles out of it.
Yeah.
And that's just with the 2.7. So I imagine the 3.0, you can probably get some fun out of it too.
Yeah. I think if you got to spend a little bit of time in it, you'd be a lot more impressed. Like the first time I drove one, I was not that impressed, and so I was a little underwhelmed. And then when I got mine, I was like, well, now I can drive it like an idiot.
Like you stole it.
Like I stole it. And so when you drive it like that, it's a lot better. And it's suspension.
No, I totally understand what you're saying, because I have a Nissan Z down there that Nissan sent over for us to test, and I've done some silly things with it, but not where I would like to go with it. And if it was my car, oh no, it's going to end up in a ditch probably. But no, I totally like being reserved on that. It's tough to do as well.
He was glad I was working this weekend and he could take it out with his boyfriend, so to speak.
Hello, Dave. You got a man friend?
Yeah,
we all have that.
He was his best man at our wedding, so we
always have, and he always. Most of my friends love when we get press cars.
Yeah,
and we don't get a ton of them by any means, but when it's press car week, they're like suddenly like people we haven't seen in several months.
I'm surprised there's one person that has not been at our house.
Who, Jim?
To drool over it. Yeah, Jim.
Well, no. Well, if we didn't have ball games all week, me and him would go scare up some people.
Which is probably good that he's not.
I will say this for the video coming up. I did find a C8 Corvette that I just happened to. I was going to take a left, and he was at the T, and he was going to where I would have been going straight. He was taking a left, and instead of me taking the left, I tracked that car down real quick, and I wanted to play with him a little bit. We're on these country roads, and damn it, if there was not somebody slow in front of us, ruined the whole thing, and ended up I went like 15 miles out of my way. And finally, I was like, I gave up, and he waved at me because he knew he wanted to play.
Well, there was a Mercedes that was trying to.
Oh yeah, we had a Mercedes that thought he was going to pass me, and I was like,
no,
you're not. No, it's a fun little car, but this is not an easy car.
We're just hanging out.
That's right. That's right.
Get behind the scenes.
But
all car talk all the time.
Pretty much. So when you take delivery of this thing, I mean, is there anything extra does the dealership prep you a little bit better? Do they spend more time with you when you buy a Raptor versus just kind of a Bronco?
Well, the first time when I bought a Gen 2, they did that dealership, Bill Knight's where I buy mine here in Stillwater or in Jeans, both of those locations. And, they didn't know me that well. So they spent a lot of time on it. This one, Andy called me and said, hey, it's in. Do you want me to prep it or do you want me to leave it alone? And I was like, yeah, just leave it alone, pull it in the base so I can take some pictures. And I didn't have them detail it. So, but it wasn't a nice clean base, so I could crawl all over it. And I wasn't the only one. I mean, there was people, opening the doors, getting inside of it. I didn't care. I was just like, it's going to get used.
Yeah.
So
you're better than me. I'd be like, get out of my truck.
Well, that's when they tried to sell ours. It was in the showroom. And
yeah, because they tried to sell ours.
We were kind of coming still out of COVID and just like, man, I don't want people all through my vehicle. Like now I would like the Mustang that we've got coming that like if they put it in the showroom, I don't like that. I don't care. Like it's a car that I'm going to own for maybe 4 months and then it goes away. So
6, remember the number 6.
That's a long.
Allie has told us the number is 6.
Okay.
Whew, that's a long time
I guess
for a single car, man.
Do what?
That's a long time for a car. 6 months.
I know. Well, in your case, like anytime I turn around, you have something new over there.
It's a revolving door. I can have some fun with it and come out of it clean. That's what I do.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. Like, if you can financially, if anybody can like go have some fun and still not lose your ass on one.
Yeah.
Go have it for 6 months and get rid of it. Who cares?
Make money. I mean, I sold the FE 74 and that was probably 10 under market, but I didn't pay near that for it. So
yeah. Well, that's if we ever get a shot at the Ranger Raptor, man, that's like it'll go right back to where I got it. It'll go right back to Brighton Ford because I was like, hey man, look, I just need this for a certain amount of time. And after that, I think content on the vehicles like those, and I don't know if I don't think I've done a deep dive on your video. Do you have stuff of the Raptor stuff on the older F-150 Raptors on your channel?
No, I didn't have a channel at the time. There's I'm just kind of weird. It's like the Gladiator stuff, the Mojave stuff on YouTube does really, really well. And it does pretty good on Instagram, but the Bronco stuff is pretty saturated. So it's like anything you stick out there, you're fighting for, I don't know. It's juice versus squeeze, right? I mean, so it's like nobody's going to click on it. They're not going to say a lot about it. So I just keep.
I know. I saw the numbers in my last week's live show. I was like, well, I guess they don't want to talk about towing with their Broncos because nobody watched.
So Andy, thank you for the super chat. Man, words, they're important.
They are.
It says, try being a trucker dealing with slow traffic and losing momentum, taking forever to get back up to speed. No, I can only imagine.
I don't want to feel your pain.
I do feel this pain because for the first time ever, I started towing. I've got a diesel truck and a trailer, and I've started pulling the vehicles where I'm going. And you get on I-40 and you try to just keep a steady pace, and there's people cutting you off and slowing you down. Trying to get diesel right now at the pumps is just a nightmare. There's always something parked there, and they're inside getting I think it's a deli.
I love like diesel guy. Like there's the young kid diesel guy who they want to just think diesel's the best thing ever. But I love listening to them bitch about people at the pumps. Like
it's bad.
And I'm sure it is because not a lot of dealers or a lot of places only have maybe 2 pumps of diesel because the take rate is. But man, I've seen some just nasty comments of people of like, these people, they don't need to be over there. And I'm like, well, if they if the convenience stores would put just diesel only pumps, would completely fix this problem.
It would completely.
But they put fuel there too.
We make a game out of it. I mean, we laugh as we'll roll with 2 or 3 guys, and one of them has a float, 40-foot float with 2 JKs that are built on it. And, it's hard for him to get in, and he'll get into a pump. Then he has to back up, kind of jackknife to get out and swing wide. And there's a car that always pulls in and gets gas before you can get around him, and then he's stuck. And so we're all just setting up the road, waiting on him. We love to give him crap about it.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, that's, I guess, to be expected. If you buy a diesel, get ready for some problems.
Game. Yeah.
I will say I was going through Oklahoma. We went out to Phoenix to pick up a Nissan Frontier that had been solid axled and stuff. A dealership in Atlanta wanted this truck. So my buddy was like, hey, you want to go with me? He knows I like dumb trips. I like for somebody to just call me and go, hey, man, I'm going to California. You want to go? And I'm like, cool, let's do it. Like, I hate planning trips. Like for when we talk about Telluride, I hate the idea of having to plan for this trip. But if somebody just said, hey, we're going to Telluride, I'd be like, okay, let's go.
I'm in.
But yeah, so we were hauling through your lovely state, and I think we ended up staying in an Indian casino out there.
Okay.
But we were running low on fuel or diesel, and it's like 1 a.m. I think we've told the story several times.
And I'm like watching. I'm like, where are you? Where are you? Because he tells me like we're real close to running out. I was like, okay, where are you? Send me your PIN and I'll find you a gas station.
Well, and my buddy loves to push the limits of anything, and
that's why I was really worried, is because
you knew what was happening.
And we got to 20 miles till empty, and I'm like, shit, man, this is getting.
And I think the closest I found was like 19 miles away. Yeah. So I was like, there's no room for error here. Like there's.
And dude, the light on the gas gauge is like blinking, like, hey, pull over, basically. And we ended up getting right to it was closed, but most of the pumps are on anyway, so you can put your card in. But yeah, no, I was panicking coming through your state in 2018 or so. Like, I was just like, man, I don't know the state. The worst case scenario, I'm like, well, my phone's charged.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Summer. I'm not going to freeze to death. We'll figure this out. But no, I was panicking in a diesel trying to get gas or fuel.
Yeah. I carry a little extra in the back. I carry 10 gallons just in case I'm an idiot. Not because I'll zone out. I'll be listening to a book or something, and the light will come on. I won't even notice. Just keep on driving. Like, oops.
You need to like install an alert that says, hey, when you get to a quarter of tank, start paying attention.
Well, it should just shut the radio off. I've noticed them.
There you go. That works too.
But no, like driving through your state was great, but then you get into Texas, you're like, well, this will on 40, you're just like, will Texas ever end? Mm-hmm. It's just nothing but roads and windmills.
Windmills and the smell of money, the cattle, stockyards.
Well, and then you get to New Mexico, and you're like, oh, like it is like instantly colorful.
Can be, yeah. Roads get bad there though. Whew.
Really?
Just beat you senseless right now.
It's been a long time, but I don't recall the roads being awful. But so how is the Raptor on road? I mean, like as a daily driver, is it fun still, or is it kind of beat you up?
Nope. It's smooth. Then in normal mode, it's plush. It does a nice job. It's a lot softer than the first edition was, and just
really
handling.
Well, I mean, I guess it's made to be softer.
Yeah, you put it in sport mode, and it'll get rigid.
Yeah.
So, you can change that.
So you definitely feel the adjustable shocks, the electronically controlled, then like really affecting the ride.
Oh yeah, definitely. And this, like I said, the steering modes are pretty fantastic because I like a pretty stiff steering wheel anyway. So unless I'm rock crawling, and I'm not going to do that in this thing. I mean, that's just not what I do in a Bronco. So
yeah. Well, so where would you place it? I mean, if you want to go off road and everything, and do you think it is strictly a high speed go run through the dunes, or I mean, would you feel comfortable going rock crawling at all in this thing, or what?
Not the kind of rock crawling that I do, in the Gladiator on 40s and some of that raunchy stuff, but I would do a lot of stuff at Moab. That's really not bouldering, right? It's not what I call rock crawling in my mind. You're just doing steep stuff, and I think it's fine. It would be fantastic. It'd be comfortable. It's a different feel, right? I mean, IFS feels different than solid axle, so it's a different line and a different feel. And I think, you'll see ex-Toyota guys get in one of those things, and they take this line that I would never take, as a Jeep guy, and they just go right up it. And I'm over here trying to get up a Jeep line in this Bronco, and I'm like, man, I'm doing myself a disservice. Need to move over. And this line looks terrible. The one they're on looks terrible.
Yeah.
And they just go right up it. So there's a learning curve, I think, definitely for me, if I'm being pretty honest. So,
well, I think there's a learning curve to wheeling in general, because people you have to feel the vehicle dynamics. You have to understand, you have to have like some forethought of like, okay, I see this rut. I want to run center of it if I can, but and then I always tell her with mud in a rut, just go ahead and get in the rut, because you can't fall out of it then.
Can't fall out of it. Yep.
You can't slide out of something you're already in.
Right.
But no, I think for the wheeling like we would do, I think that thing would just be too big.
It's big. It's wide for sure. But so are my Jeeps. So that to me, that's a little bit different. I have 72-inch wide axles in that Jeep. So surface to surface, it's a big boy. But this thing just fills the hood. You know how Bronco feels. I mean, Jeep's got the narrow hood, get the narrow doors, the fenders stick out. The Bronco is full featured body. So, it does. You're definitely right. It feels different for sure.
Yeah. So how are the, I know our friends over at Light Bright, they got one, they bitched about the tires and, they're just garbage. And of course they want to put who they're sponsored by on their vehicle. How has been your setup with the BF Goodrich tires on that? Do they feel all right for that vehicle?
They were fine. I did get rid of them at about 400 miles though, to be honest with you. So they were great. They were a light load range, so they felt pretty good. I ran a little bit more air in them than I run in the Recon grapplers that I've got on it right now. But I like the Recons. They're Ds instead of Cs, so a little bit harder. So I run a little less air. But man, they feel great. I do like the firmer sidewall. It's just what I'm used to. And I'm not sponsored by Nitto. Probably never.
Sure, you're not yet.
Yeah, probably not ever. I've known all of those guys long enough. If I was going to get sponsored, it would have happened a long time ago. I think I'm maybe a dangerous commodity. Might be talk too much, but yeah, I just kind of get used.
What was the load range of those 37s they put on there?
I think they were C, if I remember right. They're really solid.
They make a C37?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Yeah. I know the C's for 35s are. Yeah, the C's for 35s are like hard to find. I mean, they want to put a soft sidewall on it so these things don't ride like a rock. They want people to buy them, but
well, they're engineered for that too. So I always that's why I didn't put trail grapplers on it, because I mean I do like trail grapplers a lot, but that's a harder sidewall, harder tire, and it handles different. And I figured Ford Performance engineers had something in mind when they built this that might have been a little bit smarter than what I do. So.
Yeah,
I didn't want to deviate too far from it, but I do run. There's BF Goodrich on my tow rig, so there you go.
Okay, your saving grace was there's still. I'm such a BF Goodrich snob. It's like, please be something on there. Yeah. I will say we got to check out the new KO3s that was on the Ranger Raptor. That's going to be a good looking. It's a good looking tire, but they've definitely. I will say BF Goodrich was, the KOs they ran for way too long. They never redesigned the thing. He was kind of the king of the all-terrain all through the 90s. It was just the king tire. And they've seen the writing on the wall with Nitto with their aggressive sidewalls and stuff. And this one's definitely got a lot more aggressive sidewall on it. So I'll be happy. Normally for her, I usually put KO series on her vehicles, but I didn't want to put 2s on the Bronco and then
Threes come
out 2 months later, and I'd be like, well, there's $2,500 I didn't want to spend.
Yeah. Well, we run BFGs on one of the Gladiators that we have, and I ran it on my Gen 1 Raptor. So, I'm not allergic to anything, just price is right and availability. But when it comes to that, when I'm really using it, yeah, I mean, I wish I was sponsored. I spend a shit ton of money on it, but
tires are so expensive, man. But instantly change the look of a vehicle too. Like that's the one thing you can do, and you're like, damn, that's a good looking vehicle.
Yeah, and some vehicles look really good with a square sidewall, and some look really good with a round sidewall. And when you get it backwards, it's just weird. You're looking at it going, "Who made that call?"
Oh yeah. Oh, and of course, the thing like the old all-terrains they just looked almost like a street tire. The old Michelin stuff, and
yep.
But I'm so happy now that you can make your vehicle look a little more aggressive. We happened to notice, or I did. We took the doors and stuff off of ours this week, and the KM3s are a little noisy with the doors off. I will definitely say, I did notice. Have you noticed that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they have a little bit of a higher pitch whine than a Nitto does, but they're great tires and they're a shitload lighter. So I mean, the rotational mass feels way better, So
yeah, I'm not one of those guys that's always so scared to spin because I know what I like. And so I've been wanting to try Nitto forever, but it's one of those things. For one, everybody has Nitto, so there's probably a reason for that. There is a great tire, but I'm always like, I don't want my vehicle to look like every other Bronco out there. Though I put the same tire that most people, a lot of people put on there, but
try to find wheels for a Raptor right now. There's not a ton of choices. You're gonna have to go with a color to not look like the next guy.
Yes, well, or our wrap. That's one thing. Our saving grace with our Bronco has been our wrap.
Yeah, we get all sorts of compliments on it.
Yeah,
too.
Still, and my wrap. It was something quick I thought of, and I'm just kind of like I told her that I was like, well, that's going to have to come off within the next year, definitely. And she's like, no, I don't want it to come off. I like that look, and I'm like, well, we have to change it up every so often.
Yeah, I remember you had some, you weren't sure about it whenever you got it put on. I think there was a video. I remember you talked about that, and I was one of the people who was like, I like it. Leave it alone.
Yeah, no. Any thoughts of wrapping your Raptor? I
was considering it. We were going to do it. We were going to maybe even do the stealth wrap, but I've done it in the passenger's or the driver's side rear door. I've dented the front bumper. I've scratched up the hood. So I'm like, it's probably should have done that ahead of time. So
maybe.
I won't ever sell mine to somebody who follows me on Instagram.
Right. I don't think Expel or whatever is going to help with dents. So
it's too late. Yeah. So we'll
probably. What were you doing? Just like testing the limits of this thing, or what happened?
Yeah, we were screwing around after everybody left, and there's a little section where you can kind of. It's not really a jump, but I knew I could get some air, and that thing just loaded up. Just one of those times where everything loaded up just right. It brake checked, the suspension sunk, and it let go right at the top, and it just hovered, and then it just kept going. And so I was in the air. I wasn't sure how high, but I hit the brakes and I was still moving. And then I had both feet on the brakes and I was still moving. And I was like, this is going to be bad. And I ended up going off of a ledge into some trees. And I took out an old tree and a couple of things and cut back. I kept the rubber down,
I just hear the Dukes of Hazzard theme playing. Like somebody outside trying to shoot a flaming bow and arrow as your.
Here's my favorite part. If you ever hear the video, you hear everybody go, ah! And then you hear, I didn't get it either. Did anybody video it? And it's like, oh. And my wife goes, I got you going through the trees. It's like, perfect.
Sure, thanks.
Yeah. Don't tell the insurance agent that.
Well, that's similar to, and I know this isn't softball talk nation, but like that's happened at like softball games and things like that too, where it's like, yeah, what a great hit. And then the player comes over and goes, Mom, you got that, right? Mom, you got that? No. And then they're mad at their mom for an hour because they didn't get that hit. And
well,
so
speaking of mad, let's bring in the mad hatter herself, Miss Allie Duvall. What's going on,
boy.
Allie? Allie, the background has not changed. You've lived in this house for like 3 weeks now. The background has not changed yet.
No, it's actually gotten worse. My chair.
Priorities, ma'am. Priorities, ma'am.
You're saying your dog makes it look worse? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm trying to put shit together. And it's all over the floor.
Oops.
What does that have to do with doing your back wall?
Because I need to finish the furniture first.
Look at that husky.
Yeah. That's Maya.
Yeah, Maya's a crazy one.
She is
She's
fast.
like, I know you're talking about me.
Allie, Tony, Allie.
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Well, so Allie, I don't know if you were listening, but Tony's already dented up his Raptor. He's testing out for Ford's what he's doing, right?
Yeah, let's pretend like that's it. I'm in R&D.
Well, speaking of that, so has Bubba, your buddy over at Exodus, has he got his hands on this thing yet? Is he itching to work on Raptors?
Yeah, he's itching to get his hands on it. I haven't gone down there yet. I think I'm like version 3 of the rack is going in mine, so it's been shipped, but I just haven't made it down there to have him put it in the new body and test it out yet. So I think Will Perryman may be on Gen 2. So we're all just being donors and testing.
Yeah.
So.
I mean,
what's your
if you're
impression
in Michigan and you want me to drive it, I'll drive your Bronco Raptor.
Okay, but don't scratch it.
Yeah, that's Tony's job.
Scratched.
That's Tony's job.
The first scratch is the worst.
Yeah, it's all there.
So Tony, what's your impression of the 74? I'm assuming you're going to like it, but I mean, is that for somebody that wants to go off-roading pretty seriously? Would you recommend that?
Yeah, I mean, this ought to take a lot of that insecurity out. There's just there's like a black cloud, right? We were talking about that earlier. I don't know really any other way to put it. It just seems like there's a lot of negativity around it, and whether you're having trouble or not, you're always worried about it. So, I think it's going to give a lot of people confidence to get out and do a little bit more exploring and a little bit more off-roading without worrying about it.
I know for us, I mean, that's going to be my next major upgrade would be that, because I don't want to screw around with Band-Aids. And I feel like some of the stuff out there is just you're Band-Aiding something, even the Bronco braces things, which I think are a great idea. And they won't leave my vehicle because they'll make a nice Band-Aid to help get people off the trail. If you break one, you can at least kind of tie it back together. It's a nice
holding spot.
Yeah. But no, I really dig what they've done. Of course, any improvement is great, but I like the kit. The price seems pretty, I mean, it's going to be expensive for most people, but if you're seriously wanting to get into rock crawling, man, that seems like the place to go.
Yeah, I think that, or, just anytime, you're going to be putting a lot of lateral force on the front wheels, whether you're in a V-notch or whether you're just, coming around corners, or, you're going to be a heavy footed guy that's going to bounce that front end a lot. I think that's something that you're going to need. It's just like Jeep guys putting 60s underneath it. You can probably wheel a JL with the stock axles in it just fine for a long time. But I kind of hesitated when I said confidence to explore, because I think that's somebody's tagline in the Jeep world. So I didn't want to, do that. But you really do want that confidence to just get out there and not worry about anything else. And I think this is going to provide that. And there's a lot of other stuff that I'm not involved in from 74 Weld that they're coming out with. I think that's going to help. For the person who doesn't want to dive off into a full rack body. But, I have a very small task with those guys, and that's all. That's my circle. That's where I stay.
Yeah. Do you, is it the programming just the kind of still the number one hassle with that?
Yeah, it was at first. And then we kind of got that figured out. There's a wealth of information out there. If you just start Googling on how to do it, a lot of it will get you there. A lot of it will get you wrong, but I have an SOP now. So it's like, if nobody else has messed with it, in about 26 minutes, we can have one programmed. But, if one comes in that somebody else tried to program, it's a whole, you just don't, you got a can of worms, especially if they took it to Ford and didn't tell Ford, what they brought them. That's, people will throw rocks at those techs, but it's like, hey, you should have told them. They would have told you they're not going to do it. You're not going to slip this past them.
Right.
It's actually funny though what people will try and slip past the techs and stuff too, because I'm like, our guys have been doing this for years. They know. I mean, granted, do they miss something from time to time? Yes, but they're going to find it eventually.
Yeah, and if they don't, you create a disaster.
Yeah.
And you got a Christmas tree instead of a truck on the inside. Yeah,
it's true.
So y'all solved the Christmas tree problem then, maybe?
Most of it, yeah. Depends on what you're talking about, but we've
Well, I mean, with the rack, like say my Badlands, you guys feel comfortable now that we could put that rack in there and it not. Yeah. Because that's my number one concern is I don't mind running with lights on. I ran a solid axle vehicle that was independent. Trust me, I had lights, but that was a simpler vehicle, and now these things are just so overly complicated.
Yeah, and I mean, it's all tied together for sure. So you make a couple of mistakes and you've lit up a lot of other things. A lot of other computers are pissed off, and that just, I mean, we worked on one the other day that when you put it in reverse, it died.
Right.
So we were able to fix it, but it was so many things have been done to try to fix it to not have to talk to us. That it was kind of been a mess, but we managed to get it cleaned up.
Is that something too, that it's not a one programming fits all kind of thing?
Oh, it will be. It's going to come out in the new Pro Cow that Ford Performance has. It's going to be super simple when that's released. So,
okay.
It'll be at some point in time, it'll ship with a programmer. which is where we want it to be, because right now it is a person doing the programming, all the time. So that's not ideal. The ideal is to box up a 74 wheel rack that's loaded up, send it out with a programmer, and either core the programmer, have the programmer sent back, or they bought the programmer for other purposes, down the line. So
no, that's ideal. I mean, I'm kind of itching to get the little Ford Performance programmer. Just I mean, I really R27. I've want nothing. Like, it has plenty of power, but
I've been thinking about getting it.
More power. You need to get bigger tires before you do that.
Well, you can fix the tire ratio at that point.
You just
right?
watch her whole. She totally deflated when you said that.
I don't need bigger tires. I like my 33s. Now those Everglade rims though.
I gotta tell you, we've had 3 of those come out. So that off-rodeo thing it's called Silo Hill. I keep calling it off-rodeo. It's not. It was built by the off-rodeo guys. But I have 3 of those come out there, and I love those little things.
That's the thing. I love those wheels.
They're so well appointed for what they are, and when you couldn't get a Lux package, you got the big screen in those. So I mean, it was like, this is a nice end around to get to what you wanted,
Yep.
Well, anyways, Allie, any? I mean, I don't know that you know Tony that well, so I would say, do you have any questions going on there? But
no, I was actually looking at the racks though, because I have several customers needing them.
Well, you can get them through Exodus, I think. So I can't speak for him, but I believe he's selling them. Again, I'm not on that end of it. For sure.
Well, I know they were trying to beta test a few more. I know when I talked to Bubba about that, they were hoping to get that, I think, by early summer, where they could start selling those things. Yeah,
and there's multiple. I mean, there's got to be multiple setups, right? So you get the 3.0 version that everybody wants to put in a retrofit, and then you want to put the body on your 3.0 if you have one, and then you want to put the body on a Raptor. It's a different deal too.
Yeah.
So wait, did you start off with the Bronco Raptor? Did you have a different Bronco to start, and then you got a Bronco Raptor?
I had a first edition that I sold after about a year, because I thought the Raptor was coming, and then the Raptor didn't show up. And so I ended up getting a Wild Track for my dealer that I kept just so I would have something to wheel out there at that event. I had that for like 4 or 5 months, and then sold it back to them. It was kind of a deal that we had. And then the Raptor came in as a surprise too. So we didn't think it was coming. It just showed up.
So I'm not going to lie, when it comes to that, I feel like someone at the plant, or just like someone forgets to like hit the tracking or like start it, because I live 45 minutes from the plant, and we've had that happen to where, so prime example, a guy stopped in on Tuesday and he goes, is my Bronco going to be here this week? And it was still showing in the plant. I couldn't ping a modem. I couldn't do anything. I'm like, no, dude, like, you're good. Because my ETA said 2 weeks. So I'm like, you're good to go up north. Well, Thursday, I get the bill of landing. He's on his way up north. I call him. I'm like, dude, did you leave? And he goes, oh, I'm only like an hour and a half away. I'm like, well, you can either keep going or turn around and come get your Bronco. He's like, I'll see you in an hour. Like, nice to come get this thing. I'm like, okay. I'm like, and he works for Ford, and I showed him. I'm like, hey, it's not leaving. Like, you're good. Like, it's not going to be here. And then 2 days later, here you go.
I mean, they just sent me a picture of it, and I was like, are you being mean to me, or is this mine?
That's not mine. Whose is it?
He goes, no, that's yours. And I was like, I'm on my way.
How is that? See, I love the Bronco Raptors, so.
Yeah, it's a big boy, but yeah, it's I love the seats in it. It is something to get used to.
Allie wants to go from 33s to 37s. She wants to skip 35s, is what it is.
Go big or go home. I'm just not putting 37s on Bucky.
Well, so Tony, I want to get into Telluride a little bit, because in July 4th weekend is when we're traveling that way, and we're unfortunately going through Kansas. And we're going to come through 40 on the way back, because they've never been through Kansas, and I was like, well, everybody should experience Kansas once.
Thanks.
And then never see Kansas kind of again.
Well, part of it's because we're going.
You just isolated all your Kansas viewers.
We do it every week.
The 3 people.
I feel like Kansas is like Ohio.
East Kansas is great. You hush, Allie.
I'm not
East
wrong.
Coast is great where all the people are.
I slept through Ohio every time we go on a trip.
See?
When I was a kid.
Ohio's awesome.
Legit. We'd hit the Ohio border and I'd be until we hit
It's
Cincinnati.
awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Michigan people, man. But no, once you get past what is it, Topeka, I guess, is about the last big city, and then it's like, well, this is gonna be boring for a long time.
Yeah, you're into Salina, and then it just gets smaller as you go till you get to Colorado. So.
Yep. And then I was hallucinating, I think, because I was driving. We drove all the way to Denver from Nashville, and we were seeing strobe lights out there of all the windmills. But you're in the middle of nowhere, no cell coverage, and all of a sudden
UFOs.
You just see these, and you're like, what? I haven't slept in a while, so I don't know what's going on. But we're gonna experience that with the family. But so Telluride, kind of, what's your idea of that, man? What is Telluride to you, I guess?
Well, I love Telluride. The view coming in, I always try to, as far as wheeling into Telluride, I always try to come into it. You can do Imogene either direction, but I love to come over. If you're not going to do Black Bear, I would love to come over Imogene and then just to be able to see Telluride as you come down through it. And Telluride for us is just part of our journey. Usually, we stay in Lake City and then we go through Telluride. So there's, I think, Brown Dog Pizza is a great piece of joint. We stop for ice cream and then we go back. Either over Ophir, or if we come down Black Bear into Telluride, we might go back Imogene, and then just come back that way. So that town is becoming, well, it's always been pretty upscale, but it's pretty well-to-do little town, right? So finding a fuel station, that's usually out on the west side of town. That's where we go to fuel up and do stuff. But they keep it pretty clean, pretty wound tight inside.
We noticed when we're trying to book a hotel or an Airbnb or something that it's quite bougie in that area.
It is, and it's it's not like, I wouldn't say it's Aspen by any stretch of the imagination, but it's probably off-road Aspen. There's people there having a good time wheeling, biking, hiking, and then there's people there that are just trying to be seen. So.
All right, Tony, you were correcting me on we were talking privately on something. Now Nick Taylor says it's Ophir, not Ophir. Hey, leave redneck voices alone. Us people in the South, we talk like that.
Yeah, we'll agree to disagree, but there's a chance he's right. But I'm only around people from the South, so I don't know.
To be honest, Nick Taylor has it Ophir, not Zero Fur. If you look at it, it's actually an O or a 0, so it's not correct either.
The Kia version of Aspen.
So if you're going out there, where would you if you're going out there for a few days, where would you want to stay? I mean, obviously it's expensive in town, and honestly, the town's not very big anyways as far as like options. I mean, what's the little outskirts areas that's a good spot for people?
Ouray.
Yeah,
somebody should drop in with a correction on that too here in a second. But yeah, that's a really pretty kind of middle ground place, because from there you can either go back over through Mineral, or you want to hit Hurricane and Corkscrew. I think if anything, it's a nice, easy trail where the terrain switches from Rocky Mountain feel to the Alpine feel, like you're in Sweden or something, to this that Swiss Alp vibe. So you definitely want to hit that trail. And I think Poughkeepsie is probably not going to be open because right now they're just trying. I think they're halfway up Ophir from the Silverton side. I don't know if they've started from the Telluride side, but I would do that, man. I would if you're going to replan your trip, I would either do that or stay in Lake City. Lake City's a lot more slowed down, a lot more chill. And it's like a hidden gem out there. So you can do Cinnamon and Engineer both from there, and then you hit Animus and got
Engineer. I've often heard. I've done Black Bear out there, which to me is way overrated. Like just boring trail, honestly. Yeah. Unless you're not paying attention, then it can be real dangerous.
So I think, what do they say, Dave? They say it's a amateur trail with professional consequences.
Yes. Yes.
My problem with that trail is I still love it because it's pretty and I like to see Bridalveil Fall and stuff. But if you don't plan it right, that 3-hour trail can take you all day long because you end up in a log jam of people who've never been on it, which is great. That's what it's there for. but they're backing up to the waterfall and taking pictures of all 30 vehicles. I got trapped in it one time. They were shooting like a little movie, like a more than just a YouTube channel thing. They were actually out there filming, and they were spotting dramatic. I was like, is this gonna be on Discover, because they're just redoing stuff over and over again? And it was.
I do remember we came. I mean, obviously you go down it, but I remember early on, you're going through kind of the plains, the very tops, like you're kind of going through plains a little bit. And I remember we broke a drone out, and man, you would have thought, I don't know if it was locals or what, but you would have thought we just like killed somebody. Like they were so mad and we weren't slow, and really, I mean, obviously it did slow down, but it wasn't a line of people trying to get through it. And yeah, there was somebody just bitching that we had this drone out. And I'm like, look, man, like this is a bucket list place for some people. You have to deal with a little bit of that, but no, you don't also be an asshole and just like an hour of you doing what you want to do.
Right. Well, I mean, that's the deal. It's like, it's there for everybody. Right. And some people will never come back again. So, you just want to plan on being patient on that trail. Right. Because look at that doggy. Because everybody's there for a reason. I mean, the first time I went through it, I was definitely slower than the last time I went through it, just because I've seen so much of it. But yeah, it can get tough in a log jam situation.
Yeah, I know. On Black Bear, like the only things that really bothered me were there's a place where water. I'm going off memory, but I remember you could tell water goes over this one spot all the time, and then I forget there was something like there was a little bit of maybe a little rock crawl or something. I don't know. I just felt like, damn it, that's kind of sucks if there's water here getting these tires wet, and then we got to go through something. But no, like Black Bear is pretty. Like that view of seeing Telluride like that, that's amazing, and everybody should do that once. But I remember being because I've always for years had heard, oh man, Black Bear. It's so like challenging. I remember Bill talking about it at the time, like, oh, you've got, we were hanging off the edge, and you're like, I remember getting
when we were encouraged not to do an off-road event out there.
But I remember like being close to the edge, but I wasn't hanging off the edge.
No, thank you.
And I had this big build up to that trail, and I remember we were going down it, and there would be motorcycle guys coming up it. But then I remember there were these people preparing for the little whatever they have a little race up there, a little running race or something. And there's these little old couples just running up this hill.
I love it when you do I love it when you mock the old people running up the hill.
They were just doing their little jog.
I know, it just cracks me up every time.
But I was like, well, for one, I was very out of shape at the time. But two, I was like, well, if people are just running up this, suddenly this trail's not that badass anymore to me. Imogene.
Imogene.
I love Imogene. Like that's because it has a little bit of just everything.
It is beautiful. So you're right, and it has cool switchbacks coming up it. If you're coming up from the Telluride side, it's pretty steep, pretty salty. You get to the very top, it's super high, super cold, super windy, and coming the backside of it where you're on Ophir's side, there's a section there where they used to have winch points. I mean, it was steep enough there before they detuned it that you actually had anchor points for.
Really?
Of course, they ran Willys and CJ7s and stuff like that. Not that they're not capable, but now we're rolling around on 37s and 40s, which was kind of unheard of back then. So, and it's still slick. It's still steep on that section. If it's wet, but
we did it when we did it. We came from I won't say the top, but because I don't know the area very well, but we were staying in Silverton. And we came, I guess the backside down is how we experienced it.
Okay, so with Silverton, took the $1 Million Highway, come like through Yankee Boy over by Ophir, and then come down into Telluride.
I believe that's how we did it.
You came into Telluride, right? Is what you're saying?
I think so. Well, so the little Pine area. I do remember going through the Pine area first. Maybe we did go through Telluride up
and then up. Yeah, that's
because there's a little water crossing.
When we went through there last year, they were working on the bridge, and it was pretty sketch, right? It had washed out completely, and so they just had two little metal tracks. It looked like you were going to load back a four-wheeler or something. We went across that, and I was like, well, this is nice.
The one thing that I've learned is I need to go wheeling out west. So
yes.
Come on, Allie. We're going the 4th of July week.
Can't. Have to work.
What?
Work.
Yeah, see?
So do you have a trail list that you're wanting to hit? Do you have a bucket list on it?
Just everything in Moab. Literally everything.
So you didn't do, Allie, you didn't do, I guess, obviously like Bronco Safari or United by Bronco or any of those?
No, I'm planning on taking that chunk of time off next year just so I can, like, I'm able to do it. I just need to save all my time off. That's the thing.
Yeah, you'll love it. That's a whole different type of wheeling. There's something about
that's the thing. I love Michigan. Don't get me wrong. Like, we have some things out here, but it's nothing comparable to out there, like, at all. Period. There's just nothing in Michigan for that. So I'm excited.
We were talking before you got on here. We just got to keep going west. You know, it just gets better.
Yeah, because like what I really wanted to do. So I wanted to do Super Celebration Colorado. But like on the way out, like hit the Badlands and like hit wheeling spots like on the way there, and then take a different way on the way back just to like do everything. But I wanted to take 2 weeks off, and it was quickly denied. So
it was like, nice try.
Yeah, this was
fun.
This was in 17, I think is when I was out there with some Nissan guys.
Nice.
But no, I it's so pretty out there. But this like imaging, I swear it's just like, it's so crazy. It's probably my favorite trail ever, just because it's such different variety. Nothing too extreme by any means. Like this little water crossing was even very low from what I guess it has been normally. I guess they were kind of going through a drought at the time, but it just beautiful trails, just beautiful, man.
You got a lot of different terrain. I mean, that's the great thing about that is you get a taste of everything on that trail.
Yeah, and this is what I want part of the reason for me going to Telluride was I want my daughter to see these Alps like mountains.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just can't. I mean, you see them in pictures, but it just
I feel
never
like pictures don't ever do anything like that justice, though. It doesn't matter how good your camera is; it just doesn't.
Well, no. And she's been going like, "Can I go on this trip? Can I go on this trip?" And it's all been like press stuff that she can't go on, or like Bronco Supercell. She's got her state testing that week. You know, there's a bunch of like things that she's been wanting to do, but we just haven't been able to make her little life work with it. And
at least you're teaching them, right, that she actually is interested in this stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because we did Iron Gap Road this summer, which is just a road, but it is a trail now. And it's here in Tennessee. And she was actually in the passenger seat spotting me. Like, okay, Mom, you're about to go down a little bit. Like, and she had just turned 12. And so she had learned from Dave being out of the car, like spotting me down these obstacles and things. And so she's excited to kind of get out there and see this. And, you know, she's 12, so she's about to hate us. So it's nice to get her to like us for a little while.
Right.
Yeah,
we're trying to
window of opportunity there.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, but so this is man.
I just saw you.
Yeah, that was Chunky Dave. Real Chunky Dave. But my buddy Dan's there doing this in a suit. He has this persona he has, and like it's this suit he found in a thrift store, and he like every once in a while breaks his thing. He's done press events with me in this business suit.
Yes,
this leisure suit of sorts.
It's a Nissan. You gotta is that a Nissan?
Yeah.
You gotta level up.
We gotta level the truck up. But yeah, if you guys this is what we're talking about, kind of the stuff we're doing. And nothing, like I said, it's nothing crazy, but this is on top, right?
Now the suit's cracking me up.
But isn't it insane how the camera just kind of detunes how complicated some of that stuff is and how annoying some of it is? It just you can't convey it, you know?
Well, this was a great trip because we drove from Vegas pretty much off. Well, Vegas, we were in the highways, but then by the time we hit Utah, it was all off road. Like we just completely off road to get there. And, but no, I will say this too. It was cold up there.
Yeah.
You were wearing that shirt today.
No, I wore it yesterday.
Or yesterday.
Jesus.
That's funny.
I need to change my outfits a little bit more.
You think?
Yeah, that's a layers kind of place because it does change drastically. And in July, the monsoons start to come in too, so you get rained on and then sleeted on. It's a good time.
Well, like all the snow, and I guess snow is a big thing.
What is that?
That's the same trail.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's snow. But the snow, I guess, sometimes in July I'm hearing is not completely gone. Like, because this was August when we were going through there.
Yeah, it's pretty deep this year. So you'll probably be driving through some channels.
Well, which was a problem, I guess, for FJ Summit. Like sometimes if the snow wasn't right, it kind of screwed up their event.
Mm-hmm. It's just not worth it, especially if you're sponsoring an event.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but then we're going to Moab, and it's like, yeah.
So you wheeled Moab?
Do what?
You've wheeled Moab? I thought you said you hadn't wheeled it.
No. I said we were driving to Moab there. No, I've done it in a Gen 3 4Runner.
Oh my gosh, with no sway bars at all.
And then some Xteras.
And then we did 7 Mile Rim in that.
Yeah, I've done that trail.
Never again. I'm good.
No, but at this part of the trip, so we're right above Moab in one of the national little parks there. And at this point, my buddy Dan's like, "Hey, I have to be back in LA tomorrow," and forgot to tell me this. And I was like,
and I had booked a hotel room for the two of them to like separate beds and all, so that they could just take a shower.
Thank God in this Bud Light area we live in, you had to say separate beds and all.
No, because I would have gotten you a king by yourself.
I know, I'm just playing. But yeah, so we literally 5 a.m. right here, man. We packed up.
Get out of that one.
We packed up that night and that morning, and everybody's still sleeping. We're putting the rooftop tent down and hauling.
Supposedly, they saw a bear.
I did see a bear there, and I've talked.
There's no pictures though.
Well, it was 5:30 when I saw that bear. But guys, this is I
said, supposedly
the terrain there, like even from there to Moab, which isn't that far away, really, is.
Bye, Mountains to Metal. Thanks for joining.
Yes, thank you, sir. It's just great, and I like the fact that out west, like you guys can camp about wherever you want. It seems like you just there's a camp spot there, and they're all marked, and
they take really good care of the campgrounds. It's been my experience if you're in Moab or Colorado, and there's a lot of peer pressure to do such. Some of the stuff I've been in Arizona has been pretty disappointing. The condition that the trails are in and the trash. So they do a great job of preserving because they're trying to take it, right? I mean, they just try to take a whole bunch of sand hollow. So everybody's like on this height and we got to take care of this thing or we're going to lose it attitude. And it's got to be that way. We don't want to lose these trails.
Our friends that run a Nissan event out there, it's been going on for 24 years, something like that. Moab shut it down this year. It's like, sorry, you're not getting your permit. Like they're really trying to crack down as well. I think some of those places learned during the pandemic. There's like, we can still survive on the bicycle crowd and the ATV crowd, and they don't want the overland guy out there.
Yeah, I don't understand, but I mean, I guess maybe people smarter than me, but I sure like using it. Yeah, I don't mind paying the fee. I don't mind paying for a permit. I've got national park permit. I've got a Utah permit. I figure I'm only going a couple times a year, so it cost me more. But
even when we went to Supercell in Tennessee, I still bought the Smoky Mountains pass, even though I was only there for a week.
Right, you want to contribute. I mean,
I don't care. I'll pay the extra money for it. I don't care. I know it's actually going towards something.
Mm-hmm. Should
be. And let's talk about the elephant in the room for a second. Like, what did we see this week? Somebody at the Bronco. What was the Bronco story?
Yeah, that was shitty.
So, not defending by any means, but I think their thought is like, it's just a little rock with a little rock on the side. Because I think they probably used a piece of rock that was there on the ground and did it. But folks, let's be honest, it's still the same. Like you're still defacing nature. Like that's not what it's there for. Like respect it because, like Tony said, they're trying to shut down trails everywhere across the country.
They're going to find a reason to shut it down, and we all knew what was happening that week. So it's not like, I mean, could it have been a Jeep person? Yes, but unfortunately, you put your last name. People found you on social media, and they freaked out on you because
I may or may not have hunted down who it was. I never reached out, but I know who did it.
You're a woman. I'm sorry. Girls are FBI agents. It is what it is.
Right. It's just what happens. So you're dumb. We found out who you were. So please don't do that anymore.
Speaking of that, or you can try to do trails in two-wheel drive.
Dave, this is not. I wasn't bringing that up.
No, I am.
I wasn't going to talk about that.
and then brag about how the roof survived. And I like those guys a lot, but man, like that dude, I commented on his one of his videos. Maybe he needs to attend a driving event that Ford does there, and I don't think he liked that comment, but
he'll never be back on the show again.
I'm just gonna tell you, he's gonna run out of angels that didn't have a seatbelt on that time, and I don't want anybody.
I mean, I think that was one of the things that like kind of bugged me about it, is just because like you didn't take the proper safety steps that you should be doing, and you are an example of the Bronco community. You have a lot of newbies. Like, I'm sorry, I'm a newbie. Like, I just started doing this stuff when I got my Bronco. Like, they're gonna think.
I think this guy did as well.
Huh?
I think he just started wheeling when he got his Bronco as well. But the problem I see right here, and I'm going to break this down just for a minute, there is no flex in that suspension whatsoever. It's so overloaded that it just, look, I mean, that front end should be down into that just a little. I mean, it's still going to roll over, but when you watch it just roll, it's just, and the person uses it for like all of his social media is like he's a badass, and that's not a badass to me, man.
If you didn't know any better, you would think it was just a matchbox.
Yes,
rolling because it's stiff as it is.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you just watch, it's just stiff as can be, man. Like, and then the response of, well, I'm testing products, that's going to get real old quick too, because that's not you. Nobody's out there. You're defacing a cool place. If you're out there just to roll on purpose, then you should be fine.
Here's the thing. I don't think he was out there to roll on purpose.
No, but they use it as this. Well, I'm so badass. I'm testing out products for the community.
It's a marketing spin on screwing up. Is what it is.
Yeah, it just like, I don't know. It bums me out because I love Tyler as a person.
Tyler's a great person.
And it just like bums me out because you do have a lot of newbies that are starting. And it's just like, I don't want them to think like this is okay.
Well,
one more time. If you look at the spotter here, watch. It's just like, well, this is just Tyler doing this again. Watch. Well, it's going over. Let me just go down here.
Yeah,
and I don't mean to pick on Tyler.
You just gave him like 20 views.
Well, yeah, there you go. I wanted to say Pritchett's not a trail that you do in 2-wheel drive. I don't think. Not throwing rocks at anybody. I don't know his headspace or what they were shooting, or I don't know how any of that works for sure, but that's a pretty sketch thing to be out in, and to go out there in 2-wheel drive is asking.
Is that part of the trifecta? I don't know the trails enough out there to.
I think so. I don't. Again, that some of those slang names, I don't.
Yeah.
There's.
No, and one last thing about that is that vehicle's always broke before it gets on the trail, and that's like. And Tyler and them run ragged. Those poor, I mean, like they're all over the country, so I can understand it. But man, just take a breather, dude.
Yeah, and then I want to go back to that beginner thing. I mean, that's really a deal. I mean, and yeah, that was a Bronco person who done the dumb thing that we were talking about earlier. But we're all off-roaders, and if we could just get that through everybody's head, that it doesn't matter whether you're in a Bronco or a Jeep, everybody's going to lose the trail. Everybody's going to lose the opportunity. And there's plenty of reasons for us to be divided, right? There's plenty, just watch the news. They'll make up something. But right now we are off-roaders. It doesn't matter whether you're in a Ford or a Bronco or a Toyota. You know, when you break down on trail, you help an off-roader. And so I think, and I mean, I'm going to make some people mad, but I don't think Ford really did anything to help heal that gap. I think they came out swinging a Jeep, and a bunch of new people who jumped in, they wanted to be part of something new, and they wanted to be part of this thing, and they just didn't know any better. And I think that the community, the off-road community, needs to be stronger than just a Jeep community or a Bronco community.
Well, you know,
I'm sorry, but it's just
no.
I totally agree with that, though.
There should be, because I consider myself fairly experienced. I'm not interested in getting to the extreme stuff. It's just not where my interest is. I've done enough of that stuff. I've rode with enough people. I could go do it and be happy. But I think that people too need to be able to take some criticism. And because I had somebody I commented on just being funny and quirky about, hey, maybe you should go to Bronco off rodeo. And somebody's like, well, where are your extreme off-road videos? And I'm like, look, man, for one, I live in Tennessee. I don't have that terrain. It's not like a quick, hey, 2 hours, we'll be in Moab kind of for me. Even for you, Tony, like I know it's still 20 hours or whatever to get there.
16 hours.
I don't, and then I didn't sell my company for however much to fund me to be able to do this. And I'm not jealous of him by any means, but I think people are starting, like I've seen on the forums now, they're starting to criticize him just a little bit, and some of it's deserved. And then there's always that internet asshole that just wants to be a dick for, but you're like you were saying,
keyboard warrior.
Bronco brought in so many new people, and I've seen it on another channel out there that likes to send it and do that. And they've learned their lesson, hopefully, that they keep replacing parts that, you learn how to do this stuff. But please take criticism a little bit. I'm not above criticism, but anybody ever watches one of my videos and you're not just constructively saying, hey, Dave, you kind of F yourself on this one. And I'm totally accepted for that.
Well, let's be honest. A lot of adults have turned into 12-year-olds, because I'll be honest, our daughter does not take criticism at all, whether it's constructive or not. So it's like we have to read the room and figure out who's giving constructive criticism versus just being like you were saying, Allie, keyboard warriors. Because I do think that there are people out there that are trying to be educational with it. But
I completely agree with that. And to Technical Disasters comment, I mean, that's one thing for Ford to throw their pocketbook at it, but it's another thing to have the dealers talk about it, which we don't. I mean, I'll tell you right now, I'm the only one preaching off-rodeo and a lot of this stuff just because I've had firsthand experiences. There's 15 others. That's the thing. There's 15 other guys who are not doing a thing about it because, one, they either don't have a Bronco, they've never off-roaded, they don't care. Off-rodeo is doing a fantastic job of preaching all of that, just with partnering with them with Tread Lightly. And like Tread Lightly has come to our events, and Matt, who runs it, he's a phenomenal gut person. He is just so nice, down to earth. And like, I try and do it anyway, but there's a lot of people who don't even know about it because they've either not gone to off-rodeo. Because let's face it, I mean, you got to get yourself there. Like, they pay for the class, but it's a pretty penny for me to fly to Texas. But it's
especially after you've purchased a Bronco or you're in the process of purchasing a Bronco.
Yeah, I need to purchase another Bronco so I can go back to off-rodeo.
And then if you stay at their host hotels, woo!
Yeah. They're pretty penny.
Yeah, I guess I need to make sure that people understand. I love my Bronco. I was drunk on Bronco the first time I saw it at King of Hammers, obviously. So I
not literally, folks, just so you know.
I wasn't laying on the Bronco drunk. We saved that for the influencer. But
we're doing this again.
I was drunk on Bronco, so I'm a big Bronco fan, but I am not a fan of this division between the two brands. To me, it doesn't matter. I mean, let's just wheel. And somebody commented about 4-wheel-drive etiquette. That's a big deal. Teaching people what to do on trails too. It's
that's the biggest thing. I think is just like the proper etiquette of like how to off-road. Like, obviously you're gonna make a mistake here and there, but still.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm not perfect by any means, and part of what I say about the constructive criticism, because this was about 10 years ago, I believe, but this is why you have to be careful right here. And this went around for a long time, and you'll see why in just a second. This is Black Bear.
Thank you.
I'm here.
Come on. Well, not come on, really, but
look, shit. Sorry.
That's the people I think were ended up okay. But
God, imagine if you had been right in the wrong place.
Well, they were to find out, if I remember right, they were talking and all of a sudden ran up a wall and then it just rolled over. And once you roll like there, you're going to keep rolling for a long time. But this is why I say with like the whole Tyler thing. And once again, Tyler's an awesome dude and he's helped the community quite a bit. But at some point, he's going to buy this ticket. And all in the name of videos.
I mean, and like that's the thing. Like, unfortunately, that's the risk you take every single time you off-road. Like, how dangerous is it? It depends on what path you are. But like, unfortunately, things happen. It doesn't matter how good you are.
No, there's always assumed risk, and that's where the new people need to realize too. There's always assumed risk in off-roading.
Yes.
Like, if you ever go out there, even if you're going with a guide and you think, oh, they're going to keep me out of trouble. like they can't do everything, and things just happen off-road. We've been on some simple road off-road stuff and things break, and we've done extreme things, and you're like, how did I not break anything? Like, it's just how it works.
So
the worst
comments are
possible
that
time to happen.
they were not necessarily okay when it was all said and
Well,
done,
no, but they lived. That's my point is. And then there was early on Bronco. There was the girl that tried to go up it.
Yeah, the Bronco
in
sport.
The sport.
Yeah.
Word on the street though is that she got turned around and she took something like she meant to hit the brake and she hit the gas or something, and then it just went up and then she rolled.
Yeah.
So
and that can happen to anybody. I mean, it's just especially if you start freaking out, and it's sad.
Yeah, and that's even for us going to Telluride, man. There's definitely assumed risk, and of course for us, I know for whatever reason people act like I'll get nasty comments sometimes about, well, I mean, you're this extreme off-road guy. Look, dude, I love to do it. If you guys pay my bills to do it every weekend, right. I will you'll see me out in Moab not giving 2 F's about it. But I live in Tennessee and I have 2 full-time jobs basically. So
yeah.
But I want to see.
Trust me, if I wish I could just off-road every weekend. That'd be fantastic.
Well, if you go out wheeling with us, and then the guys from Texas that we go wheeling with, you'll take plenty of constructive criticism from within your own group. So you will develop a callus because they're the first ones there videoing and reminding you that you're an idiot.
I think I like your friends.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So,
well, so let's see if I can bring this up real quick. This is Black Bear. Yeah, Black Bear.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I mean, now that you can tell the trail's definitely, I don't know where exactly that's at, but it's definitely the trail. Whatever I can see there, it looks pretty rutted out. But
I have a feeling it rolled from elsewhere and landed there.
Where that dog is, that is way worse than it looks. So that's a little off camber deal. Okay. And if you're not ready when you go over it, that's exactly what happens.
Huh.
Yeah, but you can just there's a bad line there. And if you're so lucky as to pick it, you're especially in something that doesn't articulate very well. Yeah.
Well, like a overly
top heavy.
Well, no, but an overly you crank those coils way too past their limits, maybe.
Yeah.
To shove 40s under it or whatever. So where would you say is easy Telluride? If you're telling somebody the first timer to go out there and explore, where would you send them?
Easy. I would do Imogene. I would do Ophir, and then I would Ophir, and I would take Corkscrew and Hurricane to Animus, and then you could come out through Silverton, hit 550. So the dream run would be to go Imogene through Ouray, get on 550, come up Hurricane, Corkscrew, get to see Animus, because Animus is really cool. It's pretty well preserved. Hit Silverton, maybe grab some handlebars, and then come back through Ophir or Ophir and end up back in Telluride. So that would be my loop if I was staying in Telluride. And that would be beautiful.
What kind of time frame were you saying for all that stuff?
That's a hard day. That's a
day. Okay,
that's a hard day. I'd leave as the sun's coming up and pack a lunch and coffee and just enjoy the day. I
was gonna say I don't remember Imogene taking all day. Definitely, we stopped and look at there's where you can see the mine. There's the gated up mine and stuff. You can kind of see. We played around a little bit.
Probably 3 hours with traffic. A little over 2 without, but if you do want, my thing is if it takes me all day, that's fine. I want to enjoy it. I don't want to be running hard. So that would be an all day loop though. I mean, that's a big loop. So you'd want to leave early and you want to keep moving as much as you could.
Why are they talking about bag cell phones all of a sudden in the
comments? I don't know. I missed
them. I mean,
I missed something in the chat because I'm really confused.
It's talking about back in my day, essentially, is what they're talking about. You know how our chat goes. They start having their own conversation.
Back in my day.
I had a bad phone.
God, y'all are making yourself sound old.
See, Jessica, pagers were king. See?
I did have a pager back in the day.
I did.
My dad had a Nextel. I just like the walkie-talkie feature.
I had a Nextel, and I loved my Nextel. My friends hated it.
He had connections to like my uncle, so I would literally steal it, like to try and walkie-talkie my uncles.
I could get rid of this and get a Hello Moto razor. It would be awesome. Just flip that thing open.
Hey, they had a new razor a couple years ago.
Yeah,
they did.
Oh, wow, we're really selling him on it a couple years ago.
Yeah,
well, like a year ago or something. So
it was like 2 or 3 years ago. They tried to bring it back.
Yeah, can you imagine actually wheeling and not videoing and actually enjoying the whole experience?
Weird.
Yeah, no, I for what we do, honestly that's why Kelly gets a lot of drive time when we do it, because I get caught up in trying to. I mean, generally when we're doing it, we're documenting something we're doing. Not that we're any better than anybody else, but no, I get caught up in that, and she gets to enjoy the drive, and I'm out here trying to basically sell a video.
Well, like, and that's the thing, like even this weekend, like prime example, like Detroit or Motor City Bronco Fest, what we had. I have 4 pictures from the whole day. I was also helping everyone and like teaching everybody like what to do. But like I have like nothing from this whole weekend, so I literally relied on everyone else to take pictures and videos.
I'm sure there was plenty of content of you though throughout everybody's.
Probably.
Footage.
You're gonna see me in like everyone's photo running around like a chicken with my head cut off.
No.
Weird.
Say it isn't so.
Crazy.
Well, so Tony, obviously you were saying Ouray's were kind of a nice place to stay. Silverton, I remember camping there, but I don't remember much about. We drove through the town, but I don't remember much about it.
Well, the next time you go, give me a heads up. And my parents own a campground, and they have cabins on there, and I'll get you dialed in, so you don't have to deal with any of that.
Fancy.
Next time, I haven't got there yet.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
you're not going to get in there on the 4th of July right now.
No, I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that. No, what an awful weekend to probably go, but it just worked out schedule wise.
Well, it'll be a little bit more crowded, right? So you just plan for longer trips and make
I didn't even think about that.
So just make it an adventure. So
our daughter actually turns 13 on the trip, so it's like her 13th birthday trip, and she's always
make her a charcuterie birthday board.
There you go.
Celebrated on the trail.
Best whiskey sour I ever had is in Telluride, by the way.
Not whiskey sour.
Old fashioned. That's right.
There was so good. I don't even remember what it was.
No.
Right? Like I know, and I wasn't even there.
There was some little whiskey joint it was some old little bar. It was really cool going down there. And then I remember my buddy Danny, who was in the suit, was trying to jump on the moose. There's that brass moose or whatever that's in town. He was trying to get on top of that thing, and I have pictures. It was hilarious. He's in these American shorts. It's just, I can't even do it justice, but he could never get on top of that thing. And then I figured if he did, here comes a cop or somebody trying to like.
Yeah, it's the sacred moose. Your buddy's riding it.
Trying to mount the moose.
Well, it looked like he was trying to mount the moose too.
Oh my God.
Oh man. So Tony, where are you going this summer? What's some of your adventures you got coming up?
We're going to Lake City at the end of July and August, and we'll be out there for 2 weeks because I'm bringing kind of a family and friends. So the Trail Cartel thing, that was my family. That like sons, daughters, but we all had Jeeps. And then when the pandemic hit and everything was worth more than they paid for it, they all wanted to sell their vehicles and take the cash. So they're in vehicles that aren't off road. So it's kind of like this one guy, me. So it's kind of a goofy name, but when I moved to Tulsa, I met a whole bunch of guys in Gladiators. And so they're all coming with us. They're bringing their wives, and we're doing kind of a trip then. Then the second half of the trip, I'm having some customers out that I go wheeling with occasionally. So that'll be like a 2-week deal. And then we're going to do a Texas Raptor run, I think. So we're just trying to get signed up for that tonight. Me and Bubba are. So we want to go out and try to break this stuff that we've been working on. And then I think Trail Hero, although I'm not as excited about Trail Hero because I know it's going to be a log jam, but I do love Hurricane, or Huracan. So we'll go out there to Sand Hollow and do that. So those are the ones that are hard packed. We were going to do a Baja run, but I don't know if you saw that video that came out of the cartels going off on those razor drivers, but there was a lot of shooting, and it was
dang.
It's crazy. So I'm gonna stay this side of the border for now. So
yeah, it seems.
Don't blame me on that.
Yeah. So one of those will be a Jeep trip. The rest are all going to be Bronco Raptor. So.
It's bad when you want to go to Baja and you got to pack your AR-15 with you.
Yeah. Be the only one. Yeah, if you can get across the border with it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That would be weird. You're trying to get across the border, that border with weapons.
Hey, when we went across, we did this in 2020. We went across. 3 of us in big Jeeps got pulled over, and we got the special treatment at the Border Patrol, and we were there for a hot minute, and then you go
pay an extra fine,
personal fine. It's a tax. It's a tax for what you're bringing across. It's a tax.
Yeah,
but it gets you through.
That goes in the pockets of each officer.
Yeah, keep that 20 in your left pocket and your wallet in your car. So when they ask for your ID, just give them the 20.
There you go.
See, this show's been very, informative.
So Bird Dog Overland asked Dave and Kelly, "Are you doing the wall in Poughkeepsie Gulch while you're there?"
No, my biggest plan is Imogene, and then just kind of see what happens. I think our buddy Andy's going to be out there at the same time, hanging out with us. So I don't like to make a ton of plans, especially for that. Like Imogene, I think will blow our daughter's mind.
Yeah.
And past that, it's just like exploring really for us.
So if you do that, are you going to go around and hit Ophir and come back in to Telluride?
Dude, you're talking way past my, like, I was riding out there with a group of people, and I didn't know. I was stupid, didn't pay attention. I don't know.
That's what I would do. That way you don't have to go right back over Imogene. So you could just do the 550 loop, hit Ophir, and you're right back in Telluride. And you got.
I do remember the $1 Million Highway being a fun road.
It is.
Switchbacks and.
Yeah, and no guardrails, and
If anybody ever wonders why that's the $1 Million Highways, because there's a lot of gold on that road. Where do they still mine out there? I guess.
Yeah, they've actually got on Engineer one of the mines operating again. So, but a lot of them have been shut down because of the chemicals they use. When you go to Animas Forks, if you make it there, if you look at the rocks, they're all bleached out still, and they're still. Like you'll see PVC tubes coming out of the trees and they're just hanging over the top of the river. That's where they're taking water samples, but it's just leached that stuff out completely.
Oh, wow.
It's sad.
American Dream.
Stephen Rapp says, "Don't miss Estes Park and driving Trail Ridge Road, where you can drive to the highest paved road in North America." I don't know if we'll make it to Estes Park, just because I don't know that we're spending a ton of time in the Denver / Estes Park area.
We do hope to stop in Boulder.
Yeah,
but that's for another social media thing.
I've been to Estes Park and it's gorgeous. It's absolutely beautiful. I highly recommend it if you've never been.
You got sick there.
I did. I got altitude sick. I was sick an entire week there. It was bad. The whole week I was there, I was sick. I was there for a music business thing when I used to work in the music business. Let's see. There's where Mobile said he was going to go visit you, Allie.
Perfect.
Look at that. Perfect.
Perfect. I'm off tomorrow, so do not show to my work tomorrow.
Because you'll totally miss her for sure. YouTube Car Spotters Guide, thank you for the super chat. Add it to the travel fund. That's great, because we are actually, all of Dave's umpiring money is going to our travel fund right now.
Dude, I'm pimping myself out anywhere I can to help pay for this trip. Like, hey,
I'm picturing the Savannah Bananas as an umpire is what I'm picturing. So
take my booty out there like
that
umpire does.
I only recently found out about the Savannah Bananas, and it cracks me up.
Oh, yeah, they're all part of that. They're a story in that Good to Great book. If you read about businesses turning themselves around, I think it's Good to Great. It's what they did was pretty incredible. So.
That's awesome.
I like when there was somebody hit by a ball one time. It's in one of their videos. You see him fall down and they're like trying to resuscitate him. Then they put him on a stretcher and take him to first base. It's hilarious.
That's funny.
And there's professional, really, there's some big names that have come out and played a game with those guys. Have a lot of fun. It's, for those that don't know, it's kind of like the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball.
Yeah. I made that reference. Thank you very much.
Yeah. It is so entertaining to watch them, though.
Mobile says, "Is Mojave Road still all washed out?"
I heard it was. I don't know that for sure, but I'm with him. I heard they weren't going to fix it, so they weren't going to spend the money to fix it. So now that's probably 12-month-old information, but I'm with him. I think it still is.
Cigar Texan said, does bauxite mine there as well? I don't know if you know the answer to that or not.
I do not.
I haven't seen any real questions. They've been just kind of having their own conversation.
That's what they normally do.
And laughing at us.
Yeah, I guess we're not that entertaining, but we're having fun.
Right?
That's all that matters, honestly.
I think the text I got from Bubba is that he needs to get a sway bar.
Oh, that person needs a sway bar?
Somebody needs a sway bar.
I think there's a rivalry there all of a sudden, because I did see somebody they're designing their own portals, and I was like, really? Like, just do one thing well, and then slowly. You don't have to do the whole vehicle instantly.
No, man. I mean, you got to have FU money to fight everybody, and maybe he does, but just
and I don't think there's any money in portals. Like, I don't know any. I don't know what the fascination with portals is. Like, I don't want to run.
Can you remind me what portals are?
It's hard. That's a loaded question. It's where they take. Tony, explain it, because I know what it is. I can't explain how it works.
So the essence of it is the drive shaft comes out the normal location where your wheel mounting surface would be, but then there's gear reduction that lowers that mounting surface down, so you get about 4 3/4 to 5 inch lift, and it's what they call true lift. It actually lifts the vehicle that high. Your differential is that much higher. Your fuel tank's that much higher. So in a lot of ways, like on a Tacoma or something like that, it's pretty crazy that you can do that, because you can spend almost 20 grand lifting a Tacoma properly. If you're, so that works. It works really good on a Mojave Gladiator, because it has pretty great suspension from the factory. So there's some edge cases for it, but you gotta. Okay, well, let's go with that.
It's what the original Hummers, the Humvees, they use portals.
4,400 race car drivers.
Yeah. You're at a whole another level of stupid when you want portals, basically.
I mean, and I don't want them on my Raptor, but if I still had the first edition, I would be first in line to test them. I would love to. That felt like. I would sign me up. I want to see what this is all about. I don't know if I'd love it or hate it, but I would just.
But you're totally willing to try and see which one it is, right? Whether you love it or not.
I'm that guy. So like, that's a terrible idea. I'll go first.
That's this one.
Yeah, me and Dave are never going to call each other to talk ourselves out of something.
I could talk myself into a lot of it.
That's a good thing we have a shared checkbook. Just saying.
That is true. That's
yeah. What is
a whole other level of stupid?
What I see something about 25 grand for 4 inches of lift. Yeah, I mean it's a bougie thing, right? I mean, I've got probably $35,000 in 4 inches of lift on my Gladiator. So I mean, it's just a matter of what you want to do. It doesn't make sense for certain things. Well, it doesn't make sense at any level, does it? Yeah. But it doesn't make sense, for certain people.
Go spend 30 grand, then take it to a dealership to sell it.
Yeah, I mean,
then you want 30 grand of it back on top of whatever.
But here's the great thing here's what I will say great about portals. When I sell my Gladiator, I'm going to lose every penny of what I put into that suspension. If I had portals on my Bronco, I would pull the portals off and keep them, buy a new Bronco and put them back on. So I don't run portals. So let's just leave it at that. But at least you got the potential to move that with you when you go,
Well, so since you've run a little bit of everything, we'll end with you on this one, Tony. Tacoma just came out. What are your early thoughts of the new Tacoma?
You know what? The only thing I haven't liked about a Tacoma is the way I sit in it. I don't like my legs being straight out in front of me. I've always hated the seats and the way the cockpit's set up. So, but everything else about it, I love the new body style. I think it looks really, really cool. I think it's the same. Isn't it the same engine?
No, 4-cylinder.
No, they went down.
Yeah. Well, they have federally, everything's going down because of loose cylinders to gain emissions. So,
yeah.
Well, so where do you stack? Obviously, you guys know I'm into the Ford Raptor. Any competition that I know it's weird.
Blasphemy.
Any competition?
That's news. Breaking news.
Holy shit.
Besides Bronco Raptor, what would be the next competition for that vehicle in your mind?
then I don't think there's anything to compete with that vehicle in midsize, is there? I mean, honestly, I mean that the TRD Pro isn't going to hang with it, right?
No,
Power wise, yeah. I mean, there's nothing. I think it's going to be first in class, right?
Well, so I've had a lot of people. Why I said I've had a lot of people say, "Hey, are you changing your opinion on what you want in a Raptor versus that?" And no, I would love. I think the Toyota hit it out of the park with the looks and stuff. I like aggressive body lines like that. And running the Tundra, I've ran the Tundra with their iForce Max. It's a great. If you think you need a V8, when you run that vehicle, you realize real quick that thing has all the power of a V8 in a smaller package. I would love to. I'm very curious about it. I like the TRD Pro stuff with those weird red seats, the bright extreme colors. I like that a lot.
Well, and their off-road capabilities and the additional
you
things.
You wouldn't get sick of that though, because I feel like you would.
Oh yeah, but come on. I think Raptor guy is going to get sick of the. I wish Ford. That's the one thing with the Ford Raptor, even Bronco. I kind of wish they would have went a little bit more extreme. Like the dash is still the same. It's a different color, but it's the same Bronco. The seats are a lot cooler, but I feel like they could have went a little more for $90,000. Now they could have pushed that envelope just a little bit more.
And those seats are a love-hate, right? When you're off-roading, those seats that are in that Raptor are sticky and you don't move around, and so you don't feel that seat belt digging into you all the time. But when you're driving around town and you're like wanting to readjust yourself, your jeans are dug into the seat, it's like Velcro. So it's kind of a love-hate thing with that texture, but the bolsters are incredible as far as that goes. But
where are you at with the new I know my buddy U2 Car Spotters guy's interested, the new ZR2 Colorado.
Man, that thing looks good, doesn't it? I think it looks good. I mean, I don't know. I've got a friend that has the last gen, and it's a capable little machine. It does pretty good off-road. He doesn't do anything rowdy with it, but that thing just looks like it's going to be fast as hell. But I don't know if it will be.
Right. And I will say that I think that unfortunately for GM, they went with a smaller they went with a 4-cylinder in that thing. But I think the problem being now is Toyota just made that 4-cylinder look really old, like 310 horsepower for their little 4-cylinder. And they're like, hey, we've got this one making 330s, maybe I forget what it makes. But instantly that little truck, I think it's a great looking truck. I just wish typical GM, they never go far enough. They just sort of like kind of go there.
That's like that ZR2. That's a pretty rad sounding truck. It sounds really, really good, the full size one, but then they just stopped on the suspension. And then this rumor of the Meteor, the one that kills all the dinosaurs. Show me.
I think Ford and now Ram have that area taken care of. I don't think GM wants to be an EV company, so they don't want to play in that field anymore.
Okay, Raptor versus TRX. You?
Oh, me? TRX all day.
Even
TRX all day. I like a V8. I like the sound of it.
Yeah.
I think the Raptor is, and even the Ranger Raptor, which I do want. I think it's so.
Do you really? No one knew.
Specifically built. I think that that they're desert runners.
Did you know that Dave wanted a Ranger Raptor?
I know.
You gave away his allocation the other day because you didn't know.
I don't have an allocation yet, so I'm over here begging.
I love this. Pick on Dave.
Allie, just you're breaking up there, Allie. I can't hear you.
Weird how that works.
No, but I think that Ford. I love what Ford does with their Raptor series, but I think Ram with the TRX went kind of in between both worlds more. Like, I'm not taking that Ram. I mean, you could take it off-roading. I'm not taking either one of them, honestly, off-roading. I don't have dunes or anything.
I think they're playing in different classes, personally.
Kind of. Yeah, one's of that narrow kind of what I'm going to call the Lamborghini of trucks. I think they're both on each end of the spectrum of that. But no, I just like a V8 sound, man. And Dodge, Ram, and all those guys, they know how to make a V8 sound great. Like the 392, when you fire that thing up, will bring goosebumps. If it doesn't, you don't need, you shouldn't.
You should just walk away from vehicles if that doesn't make you.
I think what they kind of say is that when he turns on the car, it reciprocates. So.
Yes.
I wish I can never find the video. I recorded you doing it. When I fired up the TRX for the first time, Kelly was walking up to it. She had no clue of the TRX. Kelly, when we go to these press events, and I say this a lot, I purposely do not tell her what's going to be there, what cars are, because I I think we work well off of I know what it is, she doesn't, and I think there's some fun in those videos of like, holy shit, this thing. And when I fired up that TRX, you were just like,
and I'm a V8 girl all day. Like I love me a good V8. Like, and I was like, oh, really? Is that what we're getting ready? And then when the 392, like I kind of knew what we were getting into when we drove the 392. But yeah, pulling back into the parking spots of where we had to leave the 392. I may or may not have thrown it into neutral a couple of times and revved it a few more times.
She
parked it.
She did. And those videos, unfortunately, those videos don't do anything for us. I don't know why the TRX doesn't do anything, but I anytime we can drive one, I do it just because I want to drive that vehicle. I don't want to own it because I think any of those trucks, those super trucks, are overly expensive.
Yeah.
And even like your Raptor, like I think it's overly expensive for what you do get. Even though I'm not saying they're not badass because they are, but I would have never thought I would have bought a $50,000 truck, let alone, we're getting into the average price of being going to be $60,000 for cars.
Yeah, I think
that's insane.
The 392 is like, is it like 95 or 97 now if you order a new one? So
yeah, it's pretty silly, but you can get standard 35. I mean, they did give you a little bit more for it now, but anyways, I know this is a Ford show, guys. I'm always curious when I get real off-road people on the show.
Though, that's the thing.
It's off-road.
I honestly will say though, I feel like now it's finally competition.
Yeah.
It helps everybody, right? I mean, it's like
well, I think the Broncos definitely, it's shown in the latest Wrangler upgrade. They pushed Wrangler to now they have to give you something.
Doesn't that look like a Tacoma infotainment system?
Yes.
It's like, hey, is there some left over at Toyota we can just slap in this Jeep and call it good?
Yeah.
I mean, Toyota might own them now, so I mean, it's about time they switch companies again.
Yeah, the full float 44s, that was a pretty good idea too. So I mean, there's some stuff going on, and I could see, maybe Ford's gonna go, oh, I see what you did there. Let me show you what we can do, so.
Yeah.
And then all the operators benefit.
At some point, they're going to be a $100K Raptor R Bronco. I mean, they're going to do something. It's going to be on 40s. They're going to push. They're going to push the envelope to that, and Ford loves that too. That's they know Raptor. They know like those parts are pretty much just like, hey, just throw it on here and go. And I do know there was V8 Broncos running around town, 6G Broncos running around Detroit as we speak. I mean, I know things you know things you don't know, Allie. But there are, for testing purposes, I don't think we'll ever see a V8 in that unless it's really like $120,000. Here's some rarity.
Unless it's very, very limited.
Yeah. But I would say the 6G though would be ideal to have a small V8 in that thing to help it go.
Yeah, Bronco R has the V8. I mean, there's other stuff that they're testing, but they test everything.
You're gonna cause somebody to put out another video explaining why we don't need a V8.
I don't care. We don't need a V8. Honest to God, I don't need a Lamborghini.
That's the thing. I'm impressed with the Broncos, like as they are. I mean, the V8s don't really do anything.
We're not.
Yeah, but Allie, they do something. When you start.
Jordan Parker's here.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
It's that guy. That guy.
I hate to.
Anyways, no. Tony's buddy. So Tony, where do you see? So we got mid-cycle refreshes should be coming. I mean, I know I hate to say that with Bronco already, but it is on the brain of they're going to have to do some things. I know, Allie, you had posted today. Let me see if I can find this real quick. But Bronco Nation, our buddy over there with Jordan, they posted an article of the Big Bend, if I remember right.
I didn't even read it yet before I reposted it.
I know.
He's like, oh my God, do you know what's going on? I'm like, no. I was doing 6 deliveries today.
Slacker. Jeez.
I'm the worst.
Their deal, their little news bulletin on it, but I
Do
guess
a search up at the upper
top. Big Bend and
top right.
See, here's the thing: they're bringing marine green vinyl to more trims, which I think should have been.
Spoiler alert!
I am team MGV all the way, so like I'm pumped.
100%.
I love it. And I think that, I mean, now that I've had washable floors in my Bronco, like I want them in like all my future cars.
Yes, our buddies over at Bronco Nation, they reported this or reported this. Previously, marine grade vinyl was only on Black Diamond and Badlands, but it looks like now we're going to get options for base and Big Bend to come with the rubberized washout flooring, and it looks like marine grade vinyl. I'm getting lost at all the options for that. I don't know why I mean, if you get a Big Bend with all these things, you might as well just had a Black Diamond, or you might as well. I think Ford is a company way too. I talked about this the other day. They have way too many options, too many trims, and they love their you get your high package or whatever. Just do a base as a base. Give me a black or maybe the Outer Banks because people want their bougie one, and I think Outer Banks needs to go a little more bougie than what it is because it's just sort of like, well, cool, it's this almost identical to this or this. And leave Badlands to be your off-road beast, and then Raptor to be your.
Yeah, but look at how many trim levels Jeep has.
No, I know, I definitely know, but I think the American brands are bad about that. I think that's why Toyota wins out a lot with truck sales. You just get what they offer. You can't add extra packages and all this. You might be able to order their wheel lugs or something like something stupid, but you get what they give you, and that's it.
What brand?
Toyota.
Oh yeah, I knew you were talking about Toyota.
I mean, they've always had. I mean, look at F-150 though too. I'm not agreeing with it. I'm just saying like Ford has so many trim levels and everything. Everything.
Yeah. Yes, and Jordan, I think, kind of agrees
Jordan
with
Parker
that.
For the win.
I don't think Jordan's mincing any words there, is he?
None.
Jordan, we never got our selfie together.
How do you
by
really
the way.
feel today?
Jordan wouldn't take a selfie with me at Bronco Supercell. I think he wants. There needs to be the myth of that we don't like each other or something.
Yeah.
We can't have a smiley.
Maybe he doesn't like you. He just hangs out in your DMs.
Hey Jordan, by the way, my shoulder's starting to come around, so I want to do for charity. I want to do a tire changing competition.
There you go. We can donate it to Bronco Wild Fun.
Just
or Tread Lightly.
Something fierce if Jordan beats you in a
not at all. Not at all. The dude is like 25 years old, and I'm nearly 50. Oh, it's for charity. Who cares? I'm telling you, we need to do something.
You got to do it.
Hey, Jordan said he's down.
Did he?
I know he is.
Where is this? Where is this? I can't.
He tore his rotator cuff last week.
Dude, that's I know you're. Well, I tore my labrum, but
he said he'd still beat you with an arm and a half, though.
And she brings that one to the screen.
I mean, we could donate to Tread Lightly or Bronco Wild Fund.
I would rather do the Wild Fund.
Now we're talking. I want a referee. I want to be the umpire. I want to banana this thing.
Jordan, I'm telling you, we need to do something fun. But no, Jordan, I had him on the show. We gave Jordan a lot of shit early on, but he brought it right back. And like the whole wheel conversation, I do not even remember like giving them shit about it.
See, you got to remember that your words can hit people just the wrong way. Like you might have hurt his feelings.
I don't think that has feelings.
You hurt one of his two feelings. Come on now.
He has two.
Jordan Jordan is a business guy. Jordan is a business guy. Business guys don't have feelings; they have actions, and they lead to more money.
He used to work in politics. What do you expect?
I know. I appreciate that about him.
You have to put your walls up.
Public service is a high thing. Now, where you lead with that, who knows? But anyway.
Oh, Jordan doesn't have any feelings. See, I was giving you the benefit of the doubt for two feelings, Jordan, and you said you just don't have any.
Anyway, and it looks like two bash plates and the modular front bumper are going to be this one. It says, what does it say there, Kelly?
This change will be disappointing for nearly anyone wanting to off-road their Bronco. For those who upgrade to the HD modular bumper, Ford will not be including the front bash plates on base, Big Bend, or Outer Banks.
Which is good. I know why they're doing that is to make those look like, well, move up to the next higher trim model. But what a goofy way to go about that! Like, oh, you don't get the front skid now. Sorry.
And those are ludicrously affordable. from Ford. So
Jordan is AI.
Jordan is AI. He could have been a hologram. He wouldn't get near me. That's sure. He kept we had this booth between us, so it could have been a hologram.
Know.
Jordan, we need to
working his magic.
It's okay, Jordan. I would keep a booth between myself.
I'm a Tesla bot.
Tesla bot.
I'm that little dog from Dynamics, whatever.
Dynamics.
Oh, that dancing.
Yeah, I'm the dancing dog. If you're the Tesla bot.
The dancing dog.
You don't want to know.
That's the thing. I actually didn't get much. So I was actually surprised with Ford's changes today. We'll see what we have to do on like the dealer side. If we have to change customers' orders or what the deal is with that. But I was surprised I didn't get more backlash than I did. Because normally when stuff like that comes out, I mean, people will call and freak out on the dealer. So.
Elon. Oh man.
I do have to get the super chat in here really quickly. Seth, thank you for the super chat. Some of us sweat enough in the summer that the vinyl option becomes a lifestyle choice.
Don't hit the brakes and like slide out of them if you're in your shorts.
I'm a 24-year-old.
Seatbelts. Hey Tyler, seatbelts. Save lives.
A couple things before we wrap up here. Iconic Off-Road says plenty of used Broncos will be available once the Tacoma hits the lots.
I do have a feeling that'll happen.
Yeah, same thing happened with Jeep.
Micah Malone, I know he's gone, but maybe he'll check back. I know scheduling for the Bronco did not happen last. Does anyone know if Ford will schedule this Thursday?
No, it's for specialty units this week.
When did by the way, Allie, do you have an idea when those new updates to the Bronco, when do those take effect?
No, we didn't get anything today on those, which I was actually kind of surprised. So we'll see. We'll get
I want to say too, while Allie's on here, guys, I'm trying to work with Allie for a Bronco Raptor, but that does not mean I'm getting a Bronco Raptor by any means from her dealership. And if you're going to call the dealership, you want to be on the list. I mean, I love helping Allie, like direct sales over to Allie. Just remember, like, I need to make this plain. Bronco Raptor, people are getting pissy about it. I think midsize guy especially doesn't get it. That
Ranger
Raptor.
Ranger
Raptor. It's very special. It's not, Ford will never sell 10,000 of those, 20,000 of those. They don't want to. They want it to be special. So remember, if you're watching the show at any time and you're excited by it like I am, you
also have to remember, guys, Dave asked 8-9 months ago before this was a thing.
I anticipated this. So
before there was even
there wasn't even like a hinkling for dealers. Like when I brought it up to my manager, he literally laughed at me and was like, "We don't have a list, but I guess we do now."
Jordan was Will Smith's arm during the Oscars.
Where is this? Right here.
Mobile Moto for the win.
Oh, man, if we had awards to give out, Mobile, you'd win it tonight.
Does that mean I'm Chris Rock?
Oh.
Yep.
I love all my fans. Jordan, we love you.
Yes, Mobile wins the thing tonight. On this one, I don't know on this one, so bring this up, Kelly. Which headlights are best for the Bronco, the Morimoto or the Alpha? I don't have any much dealings. I forget which one. There's somebody selling a cheaper version that I've heard can potentially cause fires. I know you get what you pay for a lot of times with this, just because some things are cheaper than others. There's a reason it's cheaper than others.
So I don't. So not to bring more attention to Jordan, but I also agree on his comments. Aftermarket headlights are almost as bad as the scripts.
Hey, I would run the script if it wasn't on every damn Bronco now. I do like the old script.
I have the script on my own Bronco. I made it.
Damn, he's going all Will Smith arm on you now.
Kevin GR says, I can vouch for the Bronco being a really safe vehicle. In an accident, I walked away from a direct hit to driver door by a rogue Nissan that ran a red. Unfortunately, I'm hearing a lot of these lately.
Wait, Kevin, is it an actual Nissan Rogue or was it a rogue Nissan?
Ooh. Question
of the day. Okay, I will say, working next to a body shop, we do get to see all of the really bad accidents that happen. And I will say, and again, not because I work at Ford, but Ford safety features are top notch.
Oh no! When Bronkbuster rolled that first time, man, you definitely saw those airbags, like the side curtains, all go off, and probably definitely kept him very safe. So
I also think it's very funny now that you've mentioned that Jeep now has side airbags.
I think federally though that was going to be required. I don't think it was that. That's not a because.
I'm just gonna blame it on because Bronco does okay.
Look, Miss Ford, Allie Ford.
I think she has a bias.
I feel like there might be a bias on that one.
Maybe, just maybe.
I don't care.
I think that was a federally deal. But I do agree, Tony, with the radio.
Wait,
I remember looking at that going, I feel like I've seen that before.
In what?
The new Wrangler, the way they do the radio is just like Tacoma.
Tacoma, man, they stole it from them.
And Pajot, wait, Bronkbuster rolled.
That's what we hear.
Yeah. Word on the street.
We're not playing it again.
Hey, Jordan,
we're not giving it
Jordan,
more views.
when are you going to have Tyler on your show to discuss how to roll a vehicle?
Stop it.
God.
I want to know.
Yes, I smacked
I
him.
want to know. Come on, guys.
You're driving business to his video. He's helping him.
Right? Don't.
Even though Allie was invited on the show and never once mentioned All Terrain Nation, by the way, was invited onto their live stream.
When did I go? Oh, for Tyler's or Bronco Nation?
No, Bronco Nation.
So she
I don't remember what I talked about.
We know.
I watched the video. I was like, come on, Allie, say
I talked
something.
about.
Jordan said, please don't ask my comments on that. I'll get in trouble. We've probably already said your comments earlier, Jordan, so it's cool.
Jordan, I'll poke that bear.
Play back if you'd like.
I love Tyler to death. He's an awesome dude, but I'll poke that bear.
Oh, God.
I'll die on that cliff.
Let's not die.
Unintended.
I'll roll that cliff for you.
I'll roll right off that cliff.
Yeah, me and Jordan had this conversation. I know Jordan's comments. No, Dave, because I think it was when I was talking to Dave and Kelly about it, about the Bronco G6 form. And I had text Jordan saying, hey, did you see this? And he's like, are you stalking me? I'm like, yes. I was still at work when all that was going down.
Jordan says, I'll share my thoughts over drinks. We love everyone.
Wait, that's a Nissan Titan.
I'll share my thoughts. I don't even need a drink. I'll just say it.
Man.
I drink enough for everyone.
I do think though that when I interviewed 74 Weld, Tyler didn't talk to me much at Supercell. I think he was a little mad that I talked to those guys.
Yeah.
I didn't talk to a lot of people I thought I was going to talk to at Supercell.
Yeah, well, sometimes they unfriend you and you act better, so.
Yeah.
But you don't get as much entertainment sometimes.
No, Jordan, I don't get to fly all over and take fun trips. I live at the dealer.
All right, guys, this one went off the cliffs.
We're having fun now.
But this one, I've had a good cup of whiskey in me now. So I've
had a long day. It was definitely a Monday, but holy crap!
I don't need Bronkbuster's crew over here like trying to want to fight because I really don't care. Like he's doing his thing, he's having fun, and as long as he's safe about it, wearing his seatbelt.
Don't recommend.
I mean, I guess if you're really gonna do it, at least wear your freaking seatbelt or something.
Hey, but you know what? I bet they sold no tops based on that roll because the damn doors were flying open, and I don't get that top either, by the way. And nothing against the engineering of it. It's probably super sound. They build probably a quality top. I just don't understand that whatsoever.
I mean, I don't like it. I mean, I haven't seen it in person, but from like what I've seen, like I don't like it.
I don't want to spend $15,000 on a top's what I don't want to do. And there's a lot of aluminum in that. And aluminum's not like cheap.
I'll spend $15,000 and just buy a Ford top.
No, I'm going. I did tell Kelly today that probably next year we'll buy the advanced fiberglass top. Dude, have you seen how I'm going to do a video once they finish and release it. Have you seen how they ship that, Tony?
What's that?
The new fiberglass top?
It's
not a solid top. It's individual pieces.
Oh, so
it's brilliant. So it comes on this flat that's about, however that, and it's as long as the top. But so you piece it all together yourself.
Nice.
How do you think?
So for shipping,
how do you think they send the Ford one?
Well, if you want a Ford top, yes, you do have to piece. And then you do have $15,000 worth of a top. Cigar Texan said something there, Kelly. Kelly's playing video game. Look at this. She's playing video games now.
You leave my town out of this.
Jesus.
I keep getting lost in the chat.
I know. I'm like,
Cigar Texan, thank you for that super chat, sir. We appreciate you more than you know. This is for the Colorado trip or a bottle. It'll probably go for the Colorado trip.
Yes, I have lots of bottles. I still have one that you sent me.
Yes.
Oh, and speaking of that, so memberships. I don't like to sell myself on this, but you guys have always been very kind to us, and we've lost about 10 members. So I don't know if we're not being entertaining enough, or maybe we're being too entertaining.
We're not giving exclusive members stuff. I think the problem, we've gotten busy.
Well, there's that, and I never know what to do. Tony, what do you think of Patreon and all that stuff, man? Are you do you support anybody or?
I don't, and I don't do it.
You know, that's the thing for creators now. Patreon, monthly subscription.
Man, see, I just create when I feel like it, and I don't want to be held to some schedule from the contract that I created with somebody. I mean, you guys are steady eddies, and you know what you're doing, and you do it on a rhythm. And
whoa! Don't put you know what you're doing.
Okay, you're right. You guys are steady eddy, and you keep doing your thing on a rhythm. So people could expect something out of you, but I might go 3 months or 4 months without posting a video because I know
I've been waiting for videos.
I just want to.
That's why you're on the show. I'm hoping to poke the bear and get you to do videos again.
That's what you did last time. Yeah, but my Bronco videos just don't do very well, and that's what I'm in right now is Bronco season.
Well, I will say, I mean, we were Bronco heavy initially because there was a lot of news coming out about it, and I'm not Bronco exclusive by any means. But I will say I was talking to a journalist today about this, and they was like, dude, I put anything Bronco anymore, and it doesn't do shit. Like, I'm like, it's the community. I won't say the community's over it, but there's, like you were saying, I think earlier, or maybe we were talking about it, there's so many people trying to jump on the YouTube Bronco thing now. It's like so watered down. Ragnicon would be the newest one that I've seen that's really putting out good stuff because he's doing, he was putting how to put a sub in the Ford spot for that. There's some good stuff like that, but there's all these guys that just think, even still 3 years later, like, oh, I can do a review on a Bronco and it's going to get me 100,000 views. And you're like, those days are over, man, for a while anyways.
Yeah. So, I mean, something's going to have to shift. It's just overwhelming right now. Because I like to watch YouTube and I like to catch new stuff, but it is just regurgitation of the same thing over and over again.
I do it every Monday.
Yeah.
Mobile says you stopped pre-gaming.
Pre-gaming?
Yeah, happy hour before the happy hour.
I can do that. My daughter was a factor in that because Kelly's she's usually working. So when I'm trying to do that, and our daughter decided she didn't want her face on YouTube.
And now she's okay with it, she said. I don't know.
We'll work that back in. Definitely work that back in though.
Yeah.
Oh, YouTube Car Spotters guy said he broke his lanyard.
Oh, ping me your address and I'll send you a new one. I'll get you one.
No, Jordan, we don't jump Broncos here.
So Tony, I'm looking at your channel. I'm going to bring your channel up here.
Oh no, I haven't posted a video in a minute. You calling me out, aren't you?
No, it's like 3 months ago.
Yeah, but go through and look at the views. Get off the shorts if you want, and go to just the videos and look at the difference between views for, like, if I do a Mojave video that's about a budget boost or about anything, that's building one, look what it does.
Yeah.
Then if I try to do like a ride along, like on an adventure, nobody gives a shit,
I don't think it's nobody gives a shit. I think the algorithm knows you for building stuff. And then when you try to kind of go out of what it thinks you are, it doesn't give you the reach.
I get maybe that's it. Yeah. So it's hard.
I battled that a lot.
What you name your videos now?
Do what?
Oh,
I said someone said it also has to do with what you name your videos now.
It might be.
But guys, go over to Trail Cartel. He's at almost 4,000 subs. I would love if you guys would go over there. It's moved since we last saw because you were at 39 or 390 4 last time I looked. Now you're
I followed him on Instagram. Hold on.
Yeah. So, I've got a ton of views though. If you look, I mean, I'm over 3 million views, but I just don't, some of my videos just don't do well.
Why don't you rub that in our faces that you're over 3 million? I'm coming up on 3 million though.
Hey man, I have like 200 subs. I'm killing it.
Nice.
Easy, Allie. Save some of those subs for us.
Does Jordan still get views?
Their live streams aren't what they used to be, but they definitely
video title. Jordan, I got you. I see you.
They I will say, across the board though, there's going to be a next generation of Bronco, second ownership of the Bronco, the 6G, that's going to start jumping in. And then when these things become more obtainable, I think, and people can really go beat them, kind of like what you're doing with your Raptor. You've beat your Raptor up a little bit already. I think once that happens where you can kind of do that.
Might want to sell it one of these days.
Well, I mean, rumor has allegedly it was beaten up. But go over to Trail Cartel. I would love if we could get him 50 subs real quick to hit 4K. I think that would be fun.
I'd start with Jordan. Jordan would just sub. I could just shut my channel down after that.
I can't get Bronco Nation to even sub on our channel.
Bronco Nation doesn't even know I exist. I could I'm at like day 5,000 of tagging Bronco Nation on Instagram. As a matter of fact, starting tomorrow, I'm going to be like day 30 tagging Bronco Nation. Day 31 tagging Bronco Nation.
Yeah, Jordan says they're way down too.
I know you get ready to say something shitty about my content.
Maybe get rid of the Jeep and you'll be fine. No, I'm just kidding.
That's what the Ford dealer told me. He goes, I'm going to unblock you as soon as you stop posting Jeep pictures.
Damn.
Okay, I followed both. I have you on Instagram and YouTube now.
Thank you.
Well, and in that being said, like
done and done.
If you guys have all the socials, be sure to like and subscribe to all of the socials of those that you like seeing content from, because I will be honest, we've been told by manufacturers that we need more subscribers, viewers, whatever, in order to continue to increase our vehicles we can put in our driveway to test out. So just putting that out there. So definitely check out all the
Jordan just subscribed to Tony.
Yay! I have made it.
That's a win. That's really a win, is what that is.
I'm so funny.
Because people look at who else is subbed, especially on Instagram, and they're just like, oh, okay, well,
Jordan validity.
Yeah,
they do. I never realized like how much people actually like pay attention to that stuff though, because even like at Supercell, they're like, hey, you're subbed to like this person. I'm like, yeah, because I like them and I think they're cool. Like, it's just crazy.
You can see how my seasons go, right? You see a slug of Jeep, then a slug of Bronco, then a slug of Jeep.
Not gonna lie, I do love your Bronco Raptor.
Yeah, that's pre-dent.
That's pre-dent. Oh, we'll get you a Band-Aid.
Yeah, it needs a big Band-Aid.
So yeah, there looks like they're subscribing to you over there. Break 4K for us. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
So other than putting more dents in this thing, any plans for this? You're gonna lift it? Do anything?
I don't think I'm gonna lift it. Right now, I kind of like the way it's handled, the way it's set up. I think we are gonna put on some links. I haven't made up my mind whether I'm gonna do Fouts or whether I'm gonna do RPG and then upper control arms, and then I need to smear some lights all over the thing. So.
Well, you're not. That's why nobody wants to sub to you. You don't have 16. It's not a Christmas tree of lights.
Well, that's the deal. I mean, it is. There's, the internet picture of the year has to have a lot of lights on it. So
yeah,
but
not too much. Like there's a fine line. It's just got to be there.
It's got to look like one of those spearfishing boats out on the lake that just lights the whole thing up.
Well, we did catch Allie over at the whose booth was that? Doing the lights over at Supercell.
Oracle
booth when they had the little flag lights she wanted so bad, and I said, that's a Jeep thing, man. You don't want to be like a Jeep guy.
I do, but like for this sand dunes.
Yeah.
It's bright out there. What are you gonna do with lights?
Nuh-uh. You go until dark.
I need an grill for my Raptor.
Hey, I gotta keep up with Jordan's nickname for my Bronco. The edition Bronco.
What do you call your Bronco?
The Tiffany edition.
Tiffany. I see a wrap in your future.
Uh-huh.
No, I won't do all teal. I wanted to do some like decal on the side. I'm just trying to figure it out. But like I wanted that light for the sand dunes for Bronco Takeover in August. I don't know. We'll see if I do it.
That we don't get to go to. Damn it.
Nope.
Stop being lame and just come. Jesus.
Well, that sounds very easy.
Remember we just talked about Bronco views down? I can't continue to.
We got to branch out our content.
Funnel money
Bronco Takeover would get them back up, obviously.
And even Supercell this year, views were way down, like way down. But then again, there's like, we were early with Bronco content. It was. What's funny is the day I ordered my Bronco was the day this channel started, and it was like by accident. This channel was just like, it was in the planning, and that's just when I secured my YouTube thing. But yeah, no, like the channel is always here and intended to be everything, auto journalism stuff. But no, Seth, and I'll say this right now, my video plan for Ranger Raptor will be, I have a buddy with a Gen 1, and I want to race it.
Don't put it out to the world because now everybody's gonna steal it.
Jordan, you better be for real.
Tyler's gonna take your video
and roll with it.
Oh,
Tyler, buddy, I do love you. I think you're an awesome dude.
Jordan, let's not talk about a meetup in Iceland because it's not happening.
Okay, if this is for real, I am so saving my money to do that.
Jordan, if Ford is willing to back me on that and ship my Bronco over there, we will change tires in Iceland.
Oh, that would be epic.
How hilarious would that be?
But Kelly can't go.
In. We had an Iceland trip canceled because of the pandemic, and we haven't made it up yet. So we want to go back.
Oh my God, I so want to go.
What could we build?
I want to see the Pelicans.
How could you?
What would be a slogan
for a tire battle in Iceland? Not
Rumble
in the Jungle.
Something with an iceberg.
The volcanoes over there, right? So
yeah.
Bringing the heat.
Eruption.
Jordan, it's 11:30.
They have like the black beaches and all that over there too.
It's not very PC.
Oh my
Jesus.
Gosh.
Oh my Lord.
I saw that one coming. I'm not gonna lie.
What she said. So whether it be 2-wheel drive.
Oh my God. 4-wheel drive.
I don't even know anymore, man.
I wish I could say I drove a Bronco Raptor.
We got to figure out something to do with Vikings.
There you go.
I do want to see the puffins though.
No, I want to see the puffins.
I want to kick a puffin.
Oh, Jordan is personally doing a full country tour of Iceland.
MG.
Was that like an hour of driving?
That ring is a long drive.
Jordan's rubbing it in that he saw half a dozen puffins.
I'm jealous.
You would not eat one. Stop it.
Jordan, you better not be kidding. I want to go so bad.
Same.
100% in.
Right?
Oh, he said 1,800 miles.
This has been your All-Terrain Nation.
See ya.